26th day of July. We're going to see if we can get an answer to the super question this morning, which is what was the highest denomination bill ever printed in the United States? We will go to Phil and see if we can get the answer for that. Hey, Phil, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning to see you, Phil. What is the highest denomination bill ever printed in the U.S., please?
$100,000.
He's right.
Can you break 100,000?
Yeah, Woodrow Wilson was on the cover, I guess, if he was the guy. He was on the bill. And I guess they would, like, banks would use that.
Yeah,
or something along
you wouldn't
those
walk
lines.
around with that.
Nope. All right, so hang on the line, Phil. We're going to set you up with a $50 Metro Diner dining card. And Metro Diner has launched a summer of waffles, an entire season devoted to the Savory Sweet Breakfast Classic. You can earn a dining discount and prizes by taking a summer waffle staycation at your local Metro Diner. Visit metrodiner.com for details. So we'll start with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He has donated an unprecedented 7-figure amount to SAG-AFTRA amid the actors' union strike.
That's pretty impressive.
Of the 160,000 SAG-AFTRA members, roughly 2,700 of the union's highest earners received a letter from the union's president, Courtney Vance, and executive director Sid Wilson, detailing the need for financial assistance amid the work stoppage.
Did they mention how this might impact our free screener copies around award season?
They
Preston?
didn't say that at this point, but Johnson's 7-figure donation is the largest lump sum the union has ever received from a single donor since it was founded in 1985.
It's very cool.
The exact amount of his donation has not been disclosed. However, the sum will likely help 7,000 to 10,000 members through the union's emergency financial assistance program.
Give any indication, is what I'm attempting to say, of his net worth at this point?
In that story, no.
Yeah.
It's got to be a lot if he's coughing up over $1 million bucks just to say, here you go. So he's, he likes to give back. He's good like that. So Terry Crews opened up about his addiction to pornography and how it affected his relationship with his family members. He was on the podcast that Dax Shepard does, the Armchair Expert. The Brooklyn Nine-Nine star said that he would, quote, start an argument with his wife, Rebecca King, so that she wouldn't ask more questions when he was at his worst. He said, poor woman. He said, I was horrible. My kids, I would get angry at them for getting in the way. Last year, he had said in an interview, if I got a day off from a set and I could watch porn from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night, I wouldn't stop. I couldn't stop.
What?
Jesus, that's how he got
hell?
so buff.
And he said, I felt bad about myself all the time. So he was in deep, man. Yeah.
What are you doing, honey?
But I guess he's gotten away from that.
He says he's gotten off it completely.
Did you guys see the video that he put out yesterday to promote colonoscopies?
No.
So he's the President Camacho from the future.
Oh, that's great.
Comes back in time to save his own colon, and he does the whole character. He stays in character
From
the whole
Idiocracy.
time. And so it's along the lines of what Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney did last year. He goes in, he actually has the colonoscopy done. They found 3 polyps within his colon.
No kidding.
And removed them.
Okay.
But he stays in character almost the whole time, except when he's coming out of the anesthesia a little bit. He trips up a little bit. But they film it. They film the whole thing. He interacts with his doctor. It's a really good little spot.
He's really good.
And I believe black men are much more likely to get colon cancer than are white men. So he's promoting it specifically for black men in America.
I love that guy.
It's really well done.
He's
great.
Anytime he's been by here is just the best. He's such a treat. Yeah.
Terrific.
Raven Simone revealed that she has psychic capabilities like her character on That's So Raven.
So that's real?
She said, I can walk into a room and read the room. Wow. And people might not think that's psychic, but what that is reading energy. And energy is in the psychic plane.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Because it's not on a physical material plane.
Okay.
The Cosby Show actress shared that she experiences visions.
You're a freaking lunatic.
On the
You've been taking too much Benadryl.
On the psychic plane as well. She said, I do have moments where I really will just stare, she said. And I will see
I do too.
I will see a scene that is happening that has happened to me or going to happen in another dimension. Okay. And I feel it in my body, and I'm like, yo, this is weird.
Yo.
She's looking for jerkmates, Case.
Yo, ever heard of jerkmate?
Do you ever walk into a room and psychically sense that there are other jerkmates in there with you?
Simone also said that all this started before she played Raven Baxter on the hit Disney show, which aired from 2003 to 2007.
The closest thing I think that, and it's not even that of a psychic experience or something where you think you're tied into, the experience of deja vu. Yeah. I'll get that occasionally.
Right.
But that's...
There are times where a random thing will pop into my head. It could be a song or a topic or whatever, or a very specific commercial or TV show or whatever, or a scene.
Yeah.
And I happen to be flipping through the channels, and there it is. And that, of course, I rack it up to bizarre coincidence.
Yes.
Because you're thinking about thousands of things in a day. And over time, eventually, one or two of those are going to happen right at that moment. And it's going to be like, oh, my God,
I'm psychic.
But there's a lot of coincidences that happen. So I chalk them up to that, not necessarily energy and psychic planes and other dimensions.
Do you ever watch porn from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night and anticipate a scene that's going to pop up?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And it happens. So maybe there is something to that energy.
I bet you there's butt stuff.
Kristen Bell appeared on the Kelly Clarkson Show and shared that her two daughters, 8-year-old Delta and 9-year-old Lincoln, enjoy drinking non-alcoholic beer. The Good Place actress said that she knows it sounds insane, but that context is important because her husband, Dax Shepard, is a recovering alcoholic. She said he's a recovering addict, but he likes non-alcoholic beer, so he'll pop one open, and he'd have our oldest daughter on his chest, and we'd walk and look at the sunset. As a baby, she was pawing at it, and sometimes she'd suck on the rim. And so I think that it feels to her like something special, something daddy, something family.
I think I mentioned this before, but over in Europe, non-alcoholic beers are all the rage now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all of the big brewers, I mean, you're talking, centuries-old breweries have their own non-alcoholic beers, and there are people who are, on like a taste testing tour.
I could see that. She said, we've been at restaurants where she said, do you have any non-alcoholic beer? And I'm like, well, maybe let's just keep that for home time. But then I'm sort of like, you can judge me if you want. I'm not doing anything wrong. That's your problem. So
would you give kids mocktails and things of that nature?
I mean, essentially mocktails are kind of like... fruit juice and stuff like that.
That's all that is.
Hey, when I was a kid, we used to have, there were restaurants you would go to, and they would have what were called kiddie cocktails.
Yeah.
And essentially it was like, Shirley Temples and things like that. That's what that is. So, yeah.
I found out that a Roy Rogers is basically a Shirley Temple for boys.
It's the same thing.
I complained to the manager.
That they changed the name. Yeah. But no. But a non-alcoholic beer, I mean, beer's got a different odd flavor to it.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like a kid would like it, but I don't know. Jeremy Renner, speaking of booze, posted to social media on Sunday to promote his partnership with Sweetgrass Vodka. He said, I'm so grateful for the progress I've made since the start of this year, which allowed me to move forward with my interest in Sweetgrass Vodka. He said their mission is rooted in community and shared experience, which is why the second I tried it, that I knew that I wanted to become a part of it.
Does Renner suggest that it's appropriate to give this to children?
He did not say that.
Okay.
But to snowplow accident victims, yes, very much so.
Absolutely.
Actress Carlin Glynn, or is it Carolyn? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
The singer and actress who won a Tony Award in 1979 for her role in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas has died, and you will know her from a film. She was 83 years old. Now, her daughter, actress Mary Stuart Masterson, announced on Instagram that Glenn died July 13th following dementia and cancer diagnoses in recent years. She was also, you would know her from 16 Candles. She's the mother. She's Claire's mother in 16 Candles.
She's great.
Mary Stuart Masterson said, I was with her. I will always be grateful for those last moments, no matter how hard. She wrote in a caption alongside a black and white photo of Glenn. The actress described Glenn as the most graceful, clumsy person you would ever meet.
Where'd she fall in your, milfy mom list?
You know what? She doesn't register at all.
Really?
Yeah. Not in a bad way, just in a...
You don't remember her, really?
Don't remember.
All right.
Yeah.
Her husband, Peter Masterson, died in 2018 at 84. He was the one who went on to adapt The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas for the film that starred Dolly Parton.
She was supposed to be in the sequel, The Filthy Stinking Slut, but they never got to it.
In the role that Glenn originally played on Broadway. So, yeah, so
that's sad because I knew she had a long run in entertainment.
Yeah. So Bryan Cranston delivered a passionate speech at SAG-AFTRA's Rock the City for a fair contract rally in New York City yesterday. And he was talking about Mr. Iger, Disney CEO Bob Iger. He said, we got a message from Mr. Iger. He said, I know, sir, that you look through things with a different lens. We don't expect you to understand who we are, but we ask you to hear us. And beyond that, to listen to us when we tell you we will not be having our jobs taken away and given to robots. We will not have you take away our right to work and earn a decent living. And lastly, and most importantly, we will not allow you to take away our dignity. So a lot of people stepping up and getting on the mic. Snoop Dogg, by the way, took to Instagram to announce that he is canceling his 2-day Hollywood Bowl show, which would have celebrated the 30-year anniversary of the Doggy Style album. And this is in support of the actors and writers strike. He said, we regret to inform you that due to the ongoing strike and the uncertainty of when this will be over, we need to cancel the Hollywood Bowl show. He wrote in a statement, we continue to stand in solidarity with all of our brothers and sisters and the WGA and SAG-AFTRA during this difficult time and remain hopeful that the AMPTP will come back to the negotiating table with a real proposal and we can all get back to work.
I forget how long the longest one of these ran. For some reason, I'm thinking like 18 months. But there was a strike that I remember going on for quite a while. And the ripple effect of that strike went on for years because so much had to be stalled.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, we got shows to watch, man.
Damn it!
We got to get everybody to agree to something because we need our entertainment.
We
I
need
need
to be
Stranger Things back, man.
Absolutely. You need to be Michael Jackson in the Beat It video where you bring both gangs together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rather than
that
fighting,
needs to be put on a red jacket.
we can dance.
Yeah.
If we want to.
Dance away your problems.
So the first season of And Just Like That may have caused some of us to start drinking, but it inspired comedian and actor and friend of the show, Bobby Lee, to sober up. Lee revealed that he got too drunk and stoned before filming a scene with Sarah Jessica Parker, which inspired him to enter rehab and get sober.
Did it get him thrown off the set? Did he lose the job?
But he could have. So,
okay.
Lee, who plays Carrie's podcasting partner Jackie Nee on the Sex and the City spinoff, said that he was, quote, blackout drunk in Hawaii when his agent called to let him know that they needed him in New York to film. He wasn't expecting to shoot till Monday, so he said he downed, quote, 600 milligrams of THC and got S-faced so that by the time he landed in New York, he was in a blackout. And he said once he realized that his schedule had changed right from under him, that he would be going straight from the airport to the set instead of his hotel as planned, he started panicking. So he wasn't supposed to, but they needed him early, and he was hammered.
Well, you remember you and I, for the longest time before a show, would do our tabs of acid, and it was a problem.
He said, my face just became drenched with sweat. I remember going there, being so high and drunk, and when I was reading the script, I couldn't even understand what the F it was even saying.
Wow.
To make matters worse, the scene was especially difficult because he had to cross a busy New York street with Parker while delivering his lines, and that ordeal inspired him to go into rehab.
That's pretty wild.
He said, I couldn't even say the effing first line. It was a nightmare. He said, I remember saying to myself, this is never going to happen again. I had to get sober. This is insane. That could have been a career ender. It was a huge opportunity. It's insane what my disease does. So that was his rock bottom moment.
Man.
And
Would he reveal this on his podcast?
he was on someone else's podcast.
Okay, yeah.
Rachel Bilson's podcast.
Yeah, so he got it together, and that was the moment that did it for him.
Well, good for him.
Yep, absolutely. Kathy sent me this story. Dave Annabelle wants a Walker family reunion.
Annabelle.
You talking about Walker, Texas Ranger?
No.
Annabelle.
Steve, brothers and sisters.
Of course.
Okay.
So the
Annabelle.
that's Dave Annabelle. The 43-year-old special ops
Walker told me I had AIDS.
lioness actor is still holding out hope for a potential Brothers and Sisters reboot
Me too, Dave.
so that its cast and crew can give the influential ABC series the send-off it deserved.
Are there groups? I still have to be online for fans of that show. Why?
I don't know.
Like Reddit threads and stuff.
I think I'm the only one.
Yeah.
He said, I missed that show. We were canceled before we were going to be, so we didn't get to say goodbye. Annabelle, who portrayed youngest son Justin Walker across all 5 seasons of the drama from 2006 to 2011, called the role a dream job, especially when it came to working alongside such a star-studded cast.
It was a great cast. I'm surprised it got canceled.
Big ensemble.
He said, I was 25 when I started that show, and I was one of the first ones cast. He said they had Callista Flockhart, but then they added Sally Field and Matthew Rhys and Rachel Griffiths. And I was like, whoa, this escalated.
And Medea.
And he says that he misses his co-stars all the time and thinks a reboot could be the key to tying up all of the series' loose ends once and for all.
I'm with you, Dave.
What they could do is do a streaming pickup. If there's a large enough fan base, like a lot of times shows, take the Orville. It jumped from Fox over to Hulu. It's conceivable.
Yeah, they could. Absolutely.
Did they leave it hanging?
It got canceled, and they literally, the season, it may have even been mid-season. I can't remember, but yeah, it was completely, nothing wrapped up, nothing ended. It was, left, okay, there'll be another show coming
The last
up.
scene was the dinosaur had their boat in its mouth. Right. And that was it.
All right, and then the last story I have for you, Drew Barrymore, whose honors include a Golden Globe and Screen Actors Guild Award, will be presiding over a more literary ceremony this fall. She'll be hosting the 74th Annual National Book Awards. And Oprah Winfrey, a previous winner of an honorary National Book Award, will be a guest speaker.
Is that on ESPN again?
It is, yeah. It's on the Deuce. Barrymore and Winfrey both have long histories of championing books and reading. Winfrey's book club picks have helped dozens of works become bestsellers, while Barrymore has praised books by Tina Fey and David Sedaris, among others. The award ceremony is scheduled for November 15th. It'll be in Manhattan.
What's the name of the award itself, the actual award?
I don't know.
The bookie?
It's the National Book Award, so I'm not sure what they actually call that trophy, Steve.
All right.
So there will be competitive prizes to be handed out in fiction, nonfiction, poetry, literature, and translation.
Probably the NBA.
And young people's literature as well.
Do you, you're mostly Audible books now at this point, right? That's me as well. I did pick up a Kindle recently just to dabble. I really do enjoy listening to books, something that I thought I'd never get into, but I love it.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's do the clips. In Then You Run, a European vacation goes horribly wrong for 4 teenage girls, and here star Leah McNamara gives us an idea of what to expect from the genre-bending mini-series. No.
It's a gripping coming-of-age meets psychological thriller meets road trip meets Irish gangland, all blended into this one big mix of chaos.
Shut the up!
Sounds excited. New episodes.
Way to sell it.
Of Then You Run air Fridays on Sky Max.
No one watches it. No one cares.
What the hell's Sky Max?
You get it on your microwave. You put a bagel in there and turn it to hot, it'll appear on the screen.
Next clip, here we go. Stephen Curry, underrated, is the coming-of-age story of the most sensational NBA player of the past decade. In this clip, Steph Curry talks about the message that he hopes the new documentary will impart.
Basketball is part of my life, and it's the craft that I've poured my heart and soul into. But sports and life are synonymous with the lessons that it teaches you, confidence that it builds, and I think that's something that we can carry and hopefully inspire for athletes and non-athletes to find their full potential, have belief in themselves, be a part of something greater than themselves as well.
I don't give a
Stephen Curry Underrated is available now, and that is on Apple TV+.
I hope they do a big segment on the Subway commercials that he was in.
Yes.
I'd like to see the behind the scenes on
an
those.
expose and all of that. Yeah, see what really happened.
If it's real meat.
Yeah. All right, there you go. That's our entertainment report for this morning. I'm going to reiterate this information. Tomorrow morning, the weather is going to be warm today, hot tomorrow. 97 degrees, somewhere in that range, and the humidity levels are going up. It's going to be pretty gnarly tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. So we would like to, and we have to do this by tomorrow to make this happen. We're sending up the Duncan Cruiser for the Liquid Caravan of Love out on the streets of Philadelphia and the surrounding areas. We'll be able to hit a few stops. But we need you to sign up. If you have a workplace that's toasty warm or a job site or whatever it may be, go to PrestonandSteve.com. We've got a little info sheet you can fill out, and maybe we'll be able to swing by there tomorrow morning and add a little bit of relief as you begin your day.
Can't get to everyone, but we'll try to get to as many as we can.
Most definitely. So you need to do that now. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Morning. We played this audio a little while back, but I have seen a few texts and emails coming in if we could play back the audio. This was former Mayor Frank Rizzo.
Legendary.
At the time.
An old style, two-fisted mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Really worked well with the press.
He was approached by a reporter out on the street, and it led to this audio. It's priceless here.
Creep. Get away from me.
Would you answer the question?
You know, you hide behind that press card.
I'm not hiding behind anything, sir. I just wanted to get some answers.
I'll tell you what to do. There's a gang of yous here. There's enough of you here. By myself, I'll take yous physically.
What about asking you to take me physically?
Well, get away from me.
Well,
I'll take you sexually, too. I'll take you physically and sexually, and you'll hate it in one part and you'll love it in the other, and you'll be forever sworn to me your allegiance out of the love of the passion I'll deliver to you, all of yous.
He starts heading down a path he can't back off of.
I will do things to you that no woman's ever done, and you will ask for it to be done again, is how good you will feel at the end of these sexual acts I will levy upon you and your entire team. I don't care, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what comes out of it. I'm putting stuff in it, and I'm going to tell you something. You're going to love it.
Wow. I got two hands. I got
two
mouth.
hands. I have full working genitals. I have all sorts. And in my, you stay right here because my house is right over there, and I have so many lubricants. It's going to blow your mind, and you will be crying in pain and then laughing in joy. Is what will happen. There'll be things you will not believe it's happening while it's happening because you will never have an orgasm as powerful as what you will soon be delivered in that alleyway down there.
Well, this certainly took a turn, Mayor.
I do not want to have sex with you. I am not.
That's how he could have gotten rid of the guy, right?
Let's just go. Let's go.
Fellas, pack it up.
Enjoy your walk, sir.
All right.
From me.
Well, sir, I'm on the public street. I should be authorized to be here.
I'll break it over your. I'll break it over your head. Get away from me, you crumb. That's a challenge. Except I'll put my dog away and I'll come back. And you got 1, 2, 3, and I'll do it along with you. In that back of that fence, just the 3.
Just like that. You don't even have to take all your pants off. You're just down by your knees. I'll get it done. It doesn't matter. You'll be begging for more, but I'll deny you on the third time. I'll leave you so frustrated your blue balls will explode. I'm telling you this.
Oh, my God. Hang on. That one.
There was a line? There was a line? All right.
I did that for you.
Oh, my God.
There you go.
Dude, I can't believe you just said that.
I had to.
I know. Oh, God. All right, let me continue on.
And I'll do it along with you. In that back of that fence, just the 3 of us, 4 of us, me and you.
Okay. I mean, honestly,
now,
sounds like, right?
if just that isolated.
Yeah. And here's how it's going to work. I'll be with 2 of you at once, and the other 2 can watch. And then like tag team wrestling, you'll tag your hands, and they'll come in, I'll start doing the other 2.
Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, Eiffel Tower. And then I'm going to put some saran wrap over your face. You ever hear of a hot Carl?
But let me put my dog back first.
Yeah, my dog, I got to put my dog back in.
Just joining us, that is Barnes Courtney, who's going to be playing at the Fillmore tonight. Tickets available at the FillmorePhilly.com. So while you were playing that song, I spoke to Casey over here, our producer, Barnes, because
I was listening to me, but that's cool.
I was listening, but I had to take a moment.
So it's fine. It's fine. It's all right. You got to pay your dues. I get it.
No, I was listening to the keyboard sound that Agam was playing, and we play a game here called Name That Song in 8 Bits. and it uses that particular 8-bit video game
sound
effects.
Yeah.
Do you want to play one real quick and see if you can?
I didn't know this would be a test.
It's a test. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
She's a good girl.
He's a pro.
Oh, man.
Congratulations.
What a dude, Tom Petty.
Yeah.
You have just won yourself a digital download of Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's available now.
No way.
Digitally on 4K Ultra HD.
It's all
Blu-ray
coming
DVD.
up, Bonzi.
Let's try another one. All right.
There's more?
Yeah. Let's try another one. Here we go. Listen. You know it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be the man who's coming home to you.
Yes, you got that right.
I'm really ginger, and I've got a brother here, and he's also equally as ginger as me.
Case, what do we have for?
We've got a case of Yarg's Rival IPA right now.
Am I actually winning? Is this real?
We'll give it to you.
You're just being sarcastic right now?
This is actually the citizenship test you never took. So.
All right, should we do one more?
One more. Yes.
Case, which one should we?
You know what? The one that you have, I love.
Okay. All right. Let's try this last one for Barnes.
Oh, I know this song. Oh, I should have just quit while I was ahead. I know the tune, but I can't place it in my brain.
Yeah, I'll give you the artist.
Hold on. The melody should be kicking in right here, I think. Here we go.
I got nothing.
Don't know that one.
I know it. It's a very good song.
Peter Gabriel?
Yeah. Peter Gabriel.
The name of the song is Salisbury Hill.
Oh God! I can't believe I didn't get Peter Gabriel. I got the Pretenders, but I didn't get Peter Gabriel.
That's incorrect. I'm sorry, Barnes. You didn't get it right.
We're going to have to take back the download and the beer.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what was I going to win? That was like a Prius, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that was.
Tomorrow morning, we're sending out the Preston Steve Cooling Caravan of Love from Dunkin', and we're going to head to a few locations and serve up some beverages to begin your steamy hot day.
Yes.
So if you're interested in us coming by your work site, your business, whatever it may be, go to PrestonandSteve.com and enter to win a visit from our caravan. It'll be tomorrow morning between 7 and 10 a.m. So there's a quick turnaround, so I'm hitting this pretty hard.
I liked your idea of including just one carafe of super hot coffee for people who want the other side of the thing.
You never know.
You know?
You might be into it. Tomorrow's high is going to be 97, so you may want a nice...
Top that off, piping a hot cup of Joe.
Why not? But go to PrestonandSteve.com now and get ready. Now, on the other end of things, next week on the 3rd, a week from tomorrow, we're doing the Belly Flop Championship. Now, that's nice and cool.
Yes.
It's outside. People will be jumping into the pool. A lot of people end up in the pool, actually, at some point. But you can come and join us. 21 and over event. It's open to the public. So get the details at PrestonandSteve.com.
It's a blast.
Yeah, 6 to 8 p.m. We have a great time there. Listen, I have noticed a few things over the past few days.
Across an empty field, down a dark alleyway, in a partially occupied office building. He is the noticer.
That I am.
Noticing so you don't have to.
I spent
He notices things all the time.
He's
a hero, my man.
Well, listen.
A God who stands tall.
With the warmer...
We love the noticer.
Shut up. With the warmer temperatures... this is interesting. On Monday, a milestone was hit. A buoy in Florida registered this is out in the ocean, a jaw-dropping 101.1 degrees Fahrenheit water temperature.
No, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So most sharks like it, 70 degrees and above, warm water. So that must have been the hot spot for the sharks.
This was on the heels of the same buoy in Manatee Bay registering 100.2 degrees on Sunday. For perspective, the average hot tub temperature is 100 to like 104 degrees.
So could you conceivably, if you had a boat, hang bags of ramen over the side?
Oh.
Cook it.
They might eventually, cook up pretty nice.
It's like doing the egg on the sidewalk thing.
Yeah. But, yeah. That's borderline hot tub temperature. Now, I remember when I was a kid, we went to the Bahamas. Okay, we were on Paradise Island, and you go out into the water, and it's like bath water.
It's bath water. It was so nice.
Unbelievable.
Those moments, the same thing occurred, it was Elbow Beach in Bermuda, one of those where the air temperature into the water, there's no difference.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Slide right in.
Right. It's perfect.
Whereas here, Jersey Shore, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's poop in the water.
It's not crazy cool, but it's chilly
What
for
is it
sure when
now?
you get in. That's a good question. Probably a little under 80, I would think.
Probably a little bit. Can you check with you?
Where?
Off the Jersey Shore.
They're saying that it's the warmest summer that they've seen in years.
it's
but
tolerable.
I don't know exactly.
Ocean City today, New Jersey, 76 degrees.
Okay.
Oh, that's the water temperature, Nick?
Yeah, that's pretty warm.
I mean, that's really warm
good
for
shark water.
the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, and 76 though is chilly when you get in there. It's funny, we've talked about this before. You go to the California beaches and you think sunshine. Ooh, the sunshine. This is it, the Golden State, beautiful. It's nice and warm. You run up there, your foot hits that water. You're like, dear God, that's cold.
It blew me away.
I know.
I remember the first time years ago, Preston, when I was a kid and we went running into the surf. Dear God.
Yeah, Nick, see if you can pull up like one of the beaches, Malibu. Just pick a Los Angeles beach and see what the temperature is compared to 76 degrees here.
68 in Manhattan Beach, California.
That's chilly.
So you know that obviously, as somebody who scuba dives, your perception of temperature is different when you're in it.
Yeah,
and you'll get cold in 68 degrees.
Oh,
it's not the same as air temperature.
No, it's way different than air temperature. That's why when you like 80-degree water, it sounds like, hey, that's nice and comfy. It's a little bit chilly. Man, some of the coldest I've ever been in was when Dutch Springs was open, and we were doing what was called our checkout dive for scuba. It's fed by a cold spring.
Yes, yeah.
And the deeper down you go, the ice cold. it is like got way too cold. I'm like, I can't take this.
So it was a quarry, and I remember when we were out there, the guy who was conducting all of the testing was wearing what they call a dry suit.
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently that's supposed to be warmer.
Yeah, you don't have direct. I mean, a wetsuit, you get water inside of it, you can. But the dry suits can keep you a little bit warmer. So this reached 101.1 degrees. And it's off the coast of Florida. Another reason why the water temperature readings are being taken seriously is the fact that experts have been tracking the exceptionally warm water temperature readings that have ranged from 92 to 97 degrees since early July. So this is an anomaly. That this is happening, but it's like, bathtub water for sure, like comfy temperatures. Let's see, I noticed something
More
else.
for the noticer.
Yeah, this is a stupid stunty thing, and I could have saved this for the connoisseur, but I think we should do it now.
All right.
French's mustard and Skittles have paired up to create French's mustard Skittles.
Does that hold any interest to you, noticer?
Not in the slightest bit. I don't know. I don't need that from my Skittles.
No,
I don't need a candy coated mustard flavor.
I will make a mustard sandwich. I love mustard, not a problem.
Yeah.
But as a candy,
no,
no.
I'm gonna try it though.
You'll try it?
Hell yeah.
So the combination comes in time for National Mustard Day, which I don't know when National Mustard Day is.
December 25th.
No, it's not. That's Christmas.
Oh, that's Christmas, yes.
Fun-sized packs will be given away via an online sweepstakes now through August 5th while supplies last. And apparently there are some locations that they have, like a caravan or something that's out and
Cooling
about.
caravan of mustard?
Yeah, something like that. Dude, we should do that.
We should do
we should just send
to work sites.
To work sites, cups of mustard.
You son of a bitch. What is in this cup? It's mustard.
Do you guys have a favorite kind of mustard?
I think it's to what it's applied to really determines what my favorite is. But on the whole, which is where I put it, I would say golden brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, specifically, you got to go to like a Philadelphia pretzel factory and get their spicy mustard. Also, Bernie's pretzels, which they used to sell at the Bazaar. Whatever mustard they have there, that is the best mustard.
Is it more towards the yellow side or
no?
Okay.
It's more towards the spicy side. Now, I'm not as married to a particular brand of mustard as I am to ketchup. Right? Like ketchup's got to be Heinz for me. I can do any kind of mustard.
However, and we've said this many times, the honey mustard at the Wells Fargo Center
yes.
is pretty outstanding.
Oh, yeah, especially for chicken fingers.
Yep, but
Chicken fingers.
but I'm with you, Steve. It depends on what it's going on because I do love brown spicy mustard, and we'll choose that more often than not over yellow mustard when it comes to hot dogs. But I think the yellow mustard has got a place in the hot dog realm.
If you're getting your hot dog from a filthy roadside stand, that the hot dogs have been sitting in the water all day, I'll throw some yellow mustard on that.
Maris?
Guys, I think I found something comparable to the Wells Fargo Center mustard.
Okay.
It's called Engelhofer.
Yes.
You buy it at Acme. It's in like a little round bottle.
Yep.
The honey mustard. It's gone on every cheese plate I've ever made in the past year, and it's lovely.
Engelhofer?
Engelhofer.
Yeah.
French's yellow mustard is terrible. It should never be consumed by anyone ever. It's disgusting. I hate yellow mustard.
I like it.
I love
yellow mustard in general.
Yellow mustard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a waste of mustard. But I told you guys, we got my dad Mustard of the Month Club for his birthday this year, and he got this hot, spicy one that I'd love to try.
Is it?
I haven't had it yet because he's in Colorado.
Is Engelhofer represented in that?
I don't know.
Okay.
So all yellow mustard is.
It's so stupid that I for whatever reason that delineation turns me off. But Golden's brown.
It's the Tony Danza of mustards, Preston. As far as
yeah.
Yellow mustard in my household at Preston is kind of like when you're ordering something at a restaurant for Parker, and you have to be very specific. Pickles cannot touch anything because he hates them so much. Casey loves yellow mustard, and so I had to be very specific. When I'm ordering, I'm like, listen, if it's not yellow mustard, don't put anything on it.
Okay.
Because she won't touch it.
No, look in my eyes.
Look in my eyes.
Yellow mustard.
Plockmans, I think, is one that we used to get.
Plock?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right. Well, anyhow, French's is making Skittles.
I will.
It's stupid.
It's incredibly stupid.
I will lie to people from time to time when I don't want. I will tell people that I'm allergic to. If I don't want something on a particular dish, like if I don't want onions, I'm like
they don't want to screw with that.
I am allergic to onions. Do not put onions on there.
That's I would call that a hack, a little bit of a hack.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a handy one. That will make absolutely positively for certain that they will not put it on whatever it is you're ordering. All right, noticing. Let's go back to noticing.
More from the noticer.
Yeah.
He keeps noticing.
I had thought about noticing this in music news, and I will later on, but
This is the second inappropriate notice.
I apologize for my inappropriate nature this morning, but Eddie Vedder was at a Taylor Swift concert.
I saw this.
And how can I not mention this? This was in Seattle. The singer dressed to impress at the show. He rocked a sequin blazer
Oh my God, that's great.
and T-shirt that reworded a line from Taylor's song "Anti-Hero." The song's lyrics are, "It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me." And Eddie's shirt read, "It's me, hi, I'm the father, it's me." He also sported a few matching Taylor Swift-themed bracelets with his wife, Jill, and his daughters, Olivia and Harper.
So he was being the good dad.
Yeah.
And I think that's very cool.
Totally. He was also not shy to greet fans at the concert as well. One lucky fan posted a TikTok of the star wishing her dad a happy birthday.
City Vet, anyone seen Nick?
Nick, you made such an impression on him.
Yeah.
Nick, what did you think when you first heard this story?
He's a great dad.
And that?
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, I'm sure Jill's a fan, his wife, and I follow all of them on Instagram, which might be a little creepy.
I just want to say I adore yellow mustard. Just can't get enough. I was talking to my close friend Tony Danza.
It's everything.
That's where the world comes crashing down.
I wonder if also he was from a rock star's perspective, kind of taking in what the show was all about and the presentation, and because decidedly different than what Pearl Jam does.
I'll tell you this: I think he is a fan of musicians.
Yeah,
and Taylor Swift is a musician and an accomplished songwriter. It may not be the style you like, but you can't argue with her talent.
As you guys can probably imagine, many people sent me this story over the weekend, and so I saw it a lot. But a few people said Eddie has been out and about a lot more lately, just like kind of wandering around West Seattle and saying hi to people. And it's interesting to me just because he was such a recluse 20 years ago. And now he's really very fan friendly.
Yeah, there are, you know what, to quote, one of your heroes and my hero, Neil Peart, was the same way.
Yeah.
And later on in life started to learn how to be more of a people person.
Yeah.
And as you mature,
Get out of your head.
You can kind of some of it has to do with anxiety and not feeling comfortable and all that stuff. But you loosen up and learn how to navigate with the masses, and that's cool to see Eddie embracing that. He was not the only star in attendance. Imagine Dragons' Dan Reynolds was also in the VIP tent with his family during the show.
They were hanging out with Henry Kissinger.
And the band Haim was joining Taylor Swift on stage to perform Nobody, No Crime.
Isn't the Haim, aren't they good friends of Taylor Swift's? I think they're besties.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Quite possibly. But I thought it was kind of interesting. Yeah. And Eddie Vedder was
That is wild.
At a Taylor Swift show, yes.
Who here locally
went to the show?
Yeah, there's a celebrity in the...
Was Ryan Reynolds there?
It might have been Ryan.
No, it was his wife.
Blake Lively.
Yeah, she was there.
She. I think she might literally be Taylor Swift's bestie.
They're very, very good friends from what I understand. All right, noticing. We're doing that.
Deep respect for the noticing.
So Amazon is taking cashless payments to another level in a new rollout. The tech giant is giving customers another contactless way to pay for groceries, and that is with their palms.
So a palm reader.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Yeah, it is. It's a palm reader.
Yeah.
In a statement on Thursday, Amazon announced that the palm recognition service called Amazon One will be used for payment, identification, loyalty membership, and entry at over 500 Whole Foods and Amazon Fresh locations across the nation by the end of the year.
Have you shopped at one of those stores where you go in and you have Case?
I have.
You go in and there's nobody there. Basically, there's just the inventory. They read who you are, and you take your stuff and you get charged,
Yeah,
correct?
you walk in, I have the Amazon app on my phone.
Right.
And you have to walk through this, this gate, and you use the app, and it checks you in, and then it basically just sees everything that you take off the shelf.
Yep.
You don't have to go through any, but I also thought it was expensive. I was like, I thought maybe I'd be getting like deals and stuff like
But
that.
not so much.
No, so the selection is minimal, so you don't have a wide variety of things to choose.
It's basically just like a dart in and grab something store, right?
Yeah, but when you're walking out, you feel like you're like, am I stealing this?
I know.
I feel like I'm stealing this.
I had that happen the other day where I tapped the card reader.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is it paid? Did it go through?
Mm-hmm.
The receipt didn't come out of the machine. I'm like, and that's when it becomes perplexing.
By the way,
so I just robbed the place.
Customers will simply have to hover their palms over an Amazon One device to pay. And if you're already a Prime member, you can link your membership with Amazon One to apply any savings or benefits to your purchase as well.
Things are going cashless all over the place. I was just at the Man last night. It's totally cashless there. What are your feelings on it? Because I am a cash guy. I'd like to have
I'm
that
still a
option.
cash guy. Yeah.
I wish the option existed at the very least.
Agreed. 100%.
Most of the time, I don't mind using my phone or whatever, but I don't know. Sometimes I have cash and I'd like to use it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a credit card guy.
Yeah.
I always use that, but I do like the option to pay in cash if you need to. Absolutely. I don't really use things like Venmo or stuff like that often at all.
So over in Europe, like if you reach for the card, they are quick to go. We take like, for example, in Budapest, we take Hungarian and the euro, and they really try to steer you, Nick, towards paying with some form of cash.
Okay.
Let's see. According to the statement, many other businesses are implementing Amazon One as payment, identification, and security entry tool. Panera Bread, for example, has adopted the technology so customers can simply wave their hand above the device.
Have you tried it at Fortunos? They have the new sack reader.
No, in order to pull up their My Panera loyalty account information and pay for their meals.
I would imagine that the creases and stuff on your sack are just like a fingerprint.
Like a snowflake.
Yeah.
I think it would be.
Yeah.
No two sacks are the same.
Did we do nutsack painting here, or was that did I?
Yeah, no, we did it at a contest. I think it was St. Patrick's Day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I forget, like if it's I imagined it.
No. We did it at it was a dictionary, and we did it at.
That's right.
We
Keenan's.
did a nutsack thing at Finnegan's Wake.
We did. You're right.
And then we did it with Jane Goodall.
Yeah, when Jane Goodall came by.
She was a fan.
Yeah.
You boys are a hoot.
At Coors Field Stadium in Colorado, customers trying to purchase alcoholic beverages can hover their palms over the Amazon One device to verify if they're 21 or older. According to the company, palm Payment is secure and cannot be replicated because the technology looks at both the palm and the underlying vein structure to create unique palm signatures for each customer.
Do you think the machine can ascertain whether or not you've recently pleasured yourself? Because that would be embarrassing.
They said in this article, a palm is the safest biometric to use because you cannot identify a person by it. The tech company assured customers that their palm data will not be shared with third parties, including in response to government demands. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right, let me go to a couple things I noticed this morning concerning world records.
Freshly noticed.
A Russian free diver who already had at least 25 world records under his belt may have just smashed 2 more after descending 442 feet on a single breath twice.
So we've talked about this. I am perpetually fascinated with these people, and yet when I watch them doing what they do, I actually get tense. It's sort of nerve-wracking because, we've talked about diving, free diving in water and just going down in a deep pool or you're out in the ocean, and then when you look up, the time I remember most acutely, Preston, is when I jumped off a cliff in Jamaica and touched the bottom and then looked up, and I'm like, dear God.
Yeah.
How do I have enough air in my lungs to get back up there?
Yeah. Alexei Malkinov undertook 2 dives on Friday and Saturday at the world's second deepest marine cavern, which is called Dean's Blue Hole in the Bahamas. He's now been dubbed the deepest man on Earth after he reached the astonishing depth of 442 feet.
Can you imagine?
Holding his breath for the duration of 4 minutes and 42 seconds. He was competing in the discipline of what's called free immersion apnea, in which a free diver descends in a vertical line by pulling on a rope without any help from weights or fins. His second dive on Saturday may also result in a record after drug tests are returned, which saw him reach the same depths but in a shorter time span of 4 minutes and 13 seconds.
So when and I didn't read this part of the article, when they get down there, are they met with oxygen of some sort?
No.
You got to come back up.
You got to come back up.
That to me is just...
I think there are different categories of this.
That's what I was wondering.
And so I have seen ones where I think they do stop and breathe.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but I was reading a little bit about this because I was curious about getting the bends, because if you go down that far, 400 and so on feet, if you're scuba diving, you have to stop on your way up and rest a few times and wait for 5 minutes or so.
You can't do that this way.
No, this way you go down and then you come right back up because you're holding your breath. And I'm like, well, how do they avoid getting the bends and getting this, pressure sickness? It has to do with the fact when you scuba dive, you're using compressed air.
Yeah.
And you're breathing regularly in and out when you're down at that, and it causes nitrogen to get into your system, and then that causes the problem on your way back up. These guys don't. Now, it doesn't mean it can't happen. It can, but they're down for a very limited amount of time, and they're holding one breath that entire time. It's amazing.
So it's amazing. I was watching a documentary on sperm whales and their ability to dive and stay down for 2 hours to go down to depths that are just lethal to any other thing on Earth. It's obviously some other aquatic animals are able to do it.
Right.
But basically, Preston, their lungs do collapse under that pressure, and their body goes into a maintenance system that slows down the heartbeat and everything. But I always wondered, could they get the bends? And occasionally, believe it or not, they do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't
think about that.
How long do you think you can hold your breath?
2 hours.
By the way, his mother was considered the greatest free diver before she disappeared off a coast in Spain 8 years ago. So she held the most world records of a free diver in history with 42 titles, by the way.
And it didn't affect her at all.
Not at all. By the way, Malkinov can hold his breath for close to 9 minutes.
Wow.
How does that? It just boggles the mind. 9 minutes.
Don't they start like when they're infants, essentially? Like they literally, and especially when it's these families that do it, they do it their entire lives. And so in a weird way, they build up a resistance to being able to hold their breath for that long.
I know you and I are the same, Nick. We do the first hour without breathing of the show every morning.
It's a good way to start the show.
It's a good way, yeah.
A bunch of people are texting in, sorry, Case, that recommending this documentary that's on Netflix right now. It's called The Deepest Breath, and it's about what these families have done. And I watched the trailer, and I can't watch the documentary because, Steve, I'm the same as you. I get nervous. I find myself feeling anxious while watching these types of things.
Yeah.
I saw David Blaine live at the Tower years ago, and he does this thing. He was like face down in the water, and he held his breath for 10 minutes. And while he did it in the very beginning, I tried to hold my breath along with him just to see how long. And I think I held it for like close to 2 minutes.
What's going on while he's holding his breath? Is there something going on, or are you just sitting there watching a dude for 10 minutes?
I believe he was trying to get out of something. I don't know if it was a if it was a he was chained or what are these things, straight jackets or something like that.
Trying to get out of a timeshare.
Yeah, he was trying to get out of a timeshare. It's nearly impossible.
3 hours later.
But he did it.
So, yeah, this guy can hold his breath for close to 9 minutes.
That's incredible.
And he is he has other world records that he has hit before in different categories of free diving, which is pretty insane. All right, do I have time for another one? Or we got to do Fox.
It's got to be a really short one.
I have a really short one. All right, so one last notice thing, and this is a world record as well. A Northern Ireland musician attempted to recapture a Guinness World Record by playing the drums for more than 150 hours. Alistair Brown started his attempt at the record for longest drumming marathon by an individual on July 16th and completed his project Saturday after surpassing his goal of 150 hours.
So
that's crazy.
I have to ask you, what's the longest you've played the drums for? A gig or a practice or whatever?
It wouldn't be like
130 hours?
No, I mean, I couldn't tell you. A couple hours at most.
What's the greatest depth you've ever played the drums at?
At 422 feet. Not a world record title, but pretty close. Kyle's band, like their first set is like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
It's like stupid how long these guys will play one set. And it's a ridiculous amount of time, but 150 hours. So he dedicated his record attempt to his partner, Sharon Deegan, who died from pancreatic cancer in January of 21. And the money's going to go to a pancreatic cancer awareness and mind and mental health charity called NIPANC.
How do you just stay awake?
I know.
Another bathroom breaks?
50 hours. How many days is that?
That's half a year.
So that's like 6 days, something like that?
155?
72 hours is 3 days, right?
I think that's 442 feet.
So
6 days?
Good Lord. How's that even possible?
Yeah, you would have to have, it'd have to be like with marathon dancing. You'd have to have like 10 minutes every 2 hours or something.
To at least
it'd be
go to the bathroom,
impossible.
but I don't know about staying awake. I don't really know. All right, anyhow, that's it. I'm done noticing. Get off my back. I'm finished. Thank you.
Go.
Yeah. We got to go on
Santa.
We got to go on TV here, folks. Noticer's got to go. Let me see. Have a secret text word, by the way. Tickets to see Sebastian Maniscalco. So text the word secret.
Santa's got to go.
Secret to 39333. When we come back, we'll go live on Fox Good Day, and we'll also get you the bizarre file. So be back shortly. Hang out.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
That's all right.
It's because you brought me in here like early in the morning. You did it deliberately, didn't you? Just to shame me in front of all these people on the radio.
You didn't get a chance to, get ready for it and practice.
I'm a musician. I'm not meant to be up at these hours.
I
It's
understand.
fundamentally against our DNA.
I wanted to ask you about writing because I was reading an article in Rolling Stone about you that said you have a difficult writing while you have a difficult time writing when you're happy. It's better when there are things going on in your life.
That's why I pay a troupe of men to sort of beat me consistently in the studio.
You want to be in a constant state of misery.
Yeah, exactly. Blunt objects mainly. Things they find outside in the street, sticks, stones.
Yeah, but sharp. No.
But the
doorknobs
songs are
in a sack.
doorknobs in a sack.
Just got to keep me on my toes, I don't want to get too comfortable.
Oranges in a sock.
Yeah, it's surprising that you're going with doorknobs instead of something a little bit more malleable.
Listen, I don't tell them how to do their jobs, okay?
Hey, we're the professional beaters. Let us do what we do.
Are you an only child?
Me?
Yeah.
No, what makes you say that?
Because only childs are usually weird.
No, I think I was dropped a lot as a baby.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to get the root of it all. No, you have a great sense of humor.
That's what I keep telling everybody.
Does that help things keep things light when you're on the road? You just try to have a good time?
It does sort of quell the crippling depression that plagued me from a young age. I didn't know we were going to bring that up for this interview.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we're just
Rubbing
trying to
salt
get
into
you
the wound.
Maybe it's inspiring you to write a new song.
Possibly. You never know.
All right, so what's another song you're going to play for us this morning?
Wait, I have to play two?
Yes, it's two. Now do it.
I got the one. I thought that was the deal.
We got a sack of doorknobs right out there ready to go.
All right, I'll play Fire.
All right,
which
Fire.
is a song of mine that I wrote.
Okay.
With my mind.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Barnes Courtney.
Yeah.
Lonely shadows following me. Lonely ghosts come a-calling. Lonely voices talking to me. Now I'm gone, I'm gone, I'm gone. My mother told me, son, let it be. Sold my soul to the calling. Sold my soul to sweet melody. Now I'm gone, I'm gone, I'm gone. Lord, give me that fire. Lord, give me that fire. Lord, give me that fire. Burn, burn, burn. Oh, 1,000 faces staring at me. 1,000 times I've fallen. 1,000 faces dead at my feet. Now I'm gone, I'm gone, I'm gone. My mother told me, son, let it be. Sold my soul to the calling. Sold my soul to sweet melody. Now I'm gone, I'm gone, I'm gone. Lord, give me that fire. Lord, give me that fire. Lord, give me that fire. Burn, burn, burn. Ghosts and devils come a-calling, calling my name out. Lost in the fire. Virginia blood is calling, calling my name out. Lost in the fire. Lord, give me that fire. Lord, give me that fire. Lord, give me that fire. Burn, burn, burn. Lord, give me that fire. Lord, give me that fire. Lord, give me that fire. Burn, burn, burn.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Wow. Fire.
Such a great sound.
Barnes Courtney, who is in our studio, and I didn't talk once during your performance. That
Very
time.
nice of you. Thank you.
Well, you won us over with the first song. We figured we'd be listening to the full second one.
Most definitely. He got my attention. By the way, I got a text that says, thank you. Now I have to go home and change my panties.
Wow.
That was me.
A day after the season 13 finale of America's Got Talent, finalist Michael Ketterer was arrested for domestic violence.
Whoa.
Well, it shows the system works because he only came in 5th place.
What did he do? Was he a singer or what?
He packed luggage.
No, I don't know. Michael Ketterer is
I
his
think he was
name,
a
and
singer.
I don't know what he did. We're looking at a picture of him with his arms open at a microphone, so that leads to believe that he
He
may
did a
have
John
been
McCain impression.
a singer and impersonated John McCain. So those are the two things you can clearly get from this photograph here.
He's going to be playing a Vegas
It's
casino.
uncanny.
Yeah.
He just does John McCain and that's it?
Yeah.
What would it be like if John McCain sang the songbook of Air Supply?
A loving tribute to
one of our nation's heroes and the kings of soft rock.
I don't even have any air supply.
One of our nation's heroes. You probably do on
so
here.
lost without you.
I'm sorry.
I knew you were right for leaving me so long.
That's
very specific talent.
It was the greatest John McCain Air Supply show I've ever seen.
And I'm bringing back my whole family. It's patriotic and it's romantic.
All right. So anyhow, I guess he was a singer and a John McCain impersonator. So let me go to here and more broken ribs. I have it says Walper. Is your name Walper?
Walter.
Honestly, wouldn't you at least say
Walper?
Is this Judge Wapner calling in?
You got a nickname now, Walter.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you hear what happened to a Walper?
That's not even a mistype. I'm looking at the T and the P are like nowhere near each other on the keyboard.
Walper.
Name's Walper.
Let me get that straight. Your actual name is Walter. And what happened to you? So what happened to you, Walter?
All right. Well,
all right.
I've broken my hand.
Yeah.
I've fractured all my ribs.
Were these fights over your weird name, Walper?
It's not my
name. His guy's name's Walper. I'm gonna punch you.
But at least you got a great nickname today,
Walper.
Well, hang in there, brother. Okay.
From Touchstone Pictures, the inspiring story of a man named Walper. I've seen him. He's got some medical issues, but the worst thing is his name is Walper. And then a young therapist came into his life. Hi, I'm Kathy Romano. We're going to change that P to a T.
Simple as that.
And then his life turned around.
I'm the head of a Fortune 500 company. And I can do the saber dance.
That morning show's not making fun of me anymore.
Name and introduction, darling, my heart filled the room. I knew it was you, come back in my life.
Shows tonight at 7:30. Tickets
Wow, we
are
got Mello in here.
on sale now. World Cafe Live. That's
Real
Tommy
mellow.
Davidson, guys.
Wow. Because even the beds you guys got here are funky. That musical bed for that company just never. Then I come in, it's like.
No, we love that.
Yeah,
That's really nice, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
You wanted to be a singer initially, right? That was that preceded any thoughts of comedy.
That's the start. With a spoon. And with tinfoil on it, standing on the table, with the family around, and
was jazz always your sort of foundational go-to musically?
No. I can't really remember what I started with, but I started with everything.
Yeah.
I think I got into soul when I discovered I was black.
Yeah.
But before that, I grew up in Laramie, Wyoming. And Fort Collins, Colorado, on communes and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like Iron Butterfly,
like hippie communes.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Can I jump in here because I'm so curious about that.
Yeah.
I love a hippie band, right? Like they're like Grateful Dead and stuff like that. I'm so not enamored by because so sometimes I would come out of these concerts, right?
Okay.
And there would be these people who would hand you these flyers to come and live on these communes. And it seemed a little appealing to me. It really did.
You're the guy.
Yeah. I don't think I would push my 5-year-old there though. I saw a lot of stuff at the communes. I was like, okay, I ain't put together till way later.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, boy.
Right. But I was a young adult at the time. I was like 20.
So we're going before we go on Fox Good Day. I want to mention if you're looking for some indoor stuff to do because of the heat. This week's big friggin' deal is with Arnold's Family Fun Center.
Love that place.
In Oaks, PA. And you can get a $100 point card to Arnold's Family Fun Center for just $50. And that is it. So go to WMMR.com, and use the keyword deal. It's 200,000 square feet of action-packed adventure. Fun seekers of all ages will enjoy endless excitement. We love that place. We've done the Granny Grand Prix there.
Had a blast.
A few times. So they've got everything as far as games and inflatables and all that stuff goes. So get that keyword. Use the keyword deal at WMMR.com. We are going live on Fox Good Day. Let's do it now.
Certainly one place to cool off down the shore this week. In the next couple of days, it's going to be hot and humid. Sue has your forecast coming up in just a little bit. When it comes to men's work outfits, the summertime can bring more leisure than usual. In fact, there's a new study from the Wall Street Journal looking at whether it's okay to wear shorts to the office. 58% of people say it's okay, you can go ahead and do it. But when you break it down by generation, 57% of older adults say shorts are no-go, even during the summertime. And more than half surveyed say graphic tees are acceptable, but sneakers, well, that's a whole different thing. So when it comes to comfort, you know, we think of Preston and Steve, or high-end fashion. Good morning, guys. What do you say? Is it okay? Shorts in the office.
You described our entire wardrobe.
That's exactly the way we dress.
Every single person in the room right now.
Except for Kathy. Every day, that's what we do. We do the shorts and we do the tees, and we have our favorite logos on our T-shirts.
Sneakers.
And that's it. That's the benefit. See, you guys are on television.
Yeah.
So you have to look presentable.
Can we switch places?
Yeah. But we look like slobs. And
Listen,
it's awesome.
it's all context, though, on what type of establishment you're going to and what is appropriate or not. So, you know, if you're walking into an insurance agent and they're wearing an I'm with stupid graphic T-shirt or whatever it may be,
you're going to be concerned.
You're going to be a little bit,
Like Jake from State Farm?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You don't want your neurosurgeon in a tube top.
But listen, when COVID hit and things kind of changed a little bit and we started reintegrating back into in-person working, I saw a more casual approach from some of our sales department, which normally were suit wearers, and I thought that was nice.
I think you're right. And in fact, a number of businesses had to, since that happened, had to relax the dress codes to sort of entice people back into the office. So, listen, I've become a year-round shorts guy. It's awesome. Now, if there's something that requires you looking a little bit more presentable, I'll put on pants and I'll do that.
All about comfort.
It's about comfort.
Did you feel any pressure, though, doing television? Because back in the radio days, I mean, we wore sweats and T-shirts and stuff like that, but the television thing kind of forced you.
Yeah, well, we've dressed up a few times for TV because that's what's required. I don't think I wouldn't show up. We wouldn't show up to do something with you guys in shorts.
Right. But if we're actually on television.
Wearing shorts right now?
No, I'm wearing shorts right now.
Yeah, I'm wearing shorts right now.
But we're at home.
I don't know if we want to pan down.
Oh, we have a reveal. Oh, goodness.
I don't know if you can see me or not.
Ah, yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Look at them gams.
Someone looking
nice
old.
legs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
His legs are all buttered up.
Right.
Super
We're
hot.
just jealous, that's all.
Yeah, it is. Don't you wear? Well, you guys are exposed because of the way that everything's set up. But I mean, there are a lot of news anchors who are just wearing thongs under the desk, right?
Yeah, I don't know about thongs, but I do have sweatpants and socks on underneath here.
There you go.
Yeah. Look.
That was a high leg kick right there.
I believe it.
So, we do what we can.
Yeah.
And thongs are very comfortable anchoring, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. That's what Walter Cronkite wore all the time.
My role model right there. We'll see you guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care, guys. We'll see you later. All right.
Did you guys, you, and Preston, and Steve are all wearing basically the same color combo.
Are we wearing
you're
red
red
pants?
up top, and I'm wearing red, and
too.
Heather, and Steve, you're wearing, but you're just opposite. You're
black shorts with a gray trim and a red T-shirt.
Yeah,
and I've got red shorts and a gray shirt, and so does Casey.
Don't tell us we can't coordinate.
Well, I was going to say who wore it best. We got to do that.
Oh,
we haven't done that in a while.
Okay, we could do that. I'm, I don't know why I was in a red shorts mood.
Yeah.
I was feeling red T-shirt mood.
Wow,
I was whatever I'm going to wear to the concert tonight mood.
Let's change it instead to who wore it best, who wore a vest.
Oh.
And make that. It's a little more decisive.
You're going to a concert tonight?
Yeah, Fish is playing.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you went to the concert last night. You said it was great.
It was great. It was an amazing concert last night, except for just one little part of the concert where Trey was out of tune and couldn't get back into tune. But other than that, it was amazing.
Don't you dress up for those, right?
I wear T-shirts and shorts.
He wears exactly what he's wearing
Yep.
right now.
Yeah. as a matter of fact.
We're the wrong people to talk to about
Yeah.
that. We are not a traditional office, and even with the traditional office people, we still don't care, and we don't wear what they wear.
Yeah.
Even on the vacation, when I was picking out, they're doing this river cruise. I'm like, how formal is this thing? 'Cause I don't want to go on vacation and have to dress like James Bond.
Yeah.
So, and they assured me, and they were right. It was very casual.
Have you ever had to, like, while on vacation, actually go shop for clothes because you didn't bring an outfit to wear?
Yeah. I needed a black dress, and I didn't have one.
You didn't?
Yeah.
You always got to bring
I know,
a black dress with you.
I'm stupid.
Yeah,
Casey,
it's a basic.
I pack like there's not going to be anywhere to purchase or do anything, even in the United States. I'm like, well, we need enough sunscreen. Like,
Kathy, I watched.
do have a CVS there.
It's been a while since I've never taken a trip of this duration, so I watch, and the basic idea is you pack like a month out, and then you keep refining down because I had just the right amount of clothes, and then where you're going a lot of times, they'll have a laundry service.
Yeah.
And so you don't need to. How many times have you gone and had like a steamer trunk full of stuff that you never even wore?
Sure.
Yeah. And so it's,
If I wear everything in my suitcase, it is like a huge success.
Really? Okay,
I've really tried to pare it down a lot. Steve and I do the same thing. I have to pack like 2 weeks out, and then I will go through it, and I'm like, oh wait, I don't need this, this, and this. Take half of the stuff out. But then there's people like Marissa and one of my best friends literally packed to go to Europe like maybe about 3 hours before she left. And I was like, that just gives me anxiety.
I sent you my checklist.
Yeah.
that I have.
Yeah.
I like
when I'm
that.
packing.
Yeah.
I usually, the only thing I ever pack, I pack underwear as if I'm going to crap myself 5 times every day on vacation.
Suddenly
Like,
become
why
the
do
most
we do that?
incontinent person on earth. Like I don't, and then 200 pairs of socks.
And socks.
I brought it way down.
Yeah, I pack my underwear and socks like I'm going to walk through raw sewage all day and crap myself 5 times a day.
It's like the way Nell would pack.
Hey, my cousin, last year, he forgot to bring a toothbrush with him and went to the front desk at the hotel.
They have, they have courtesy.
But they also sell them at their little commissary. So why would they give them away if they're selling them?
Oh, I don't know.
It's probably like
they have the single use
crappier
ones.
one. Yeah,
Courtesy,
yeah.
that you can throw away.
Look at
afterwards,
toothpaste
so.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. This is time to do the bizarre file. Here we go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, brought to you by Lehigh Valley Restaurant Group and their local Red Robin locations. They are celebrating their 30th anniversary. You can dine at your local Red Robin on August 1st, and 30% of all sales will be donated to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. You can visit redrobinpa.com. This took place in Pennsylvania. A Clearfield County man is facing multiple charges, including a felony after pulling a gun on an internet service repairman. Now, I thought maybe this is somebody, you've seen all these stories of somebody's on somebody's property and they pull out a gun on them.
Right,
they think they're a trespasser. No. Clyde Smay, who is 62, prevented the man from leaving his home after the requested work was not completed. So he pulled a gun on the guy.
You're not going anywhere.
State police say that
You got pretty lips.
During an altercation, Smay obtained a firearm and made threats towards the victim. The press release states that it was discovered during an investigation that Smay was a felon and is prohibited from possessing a firearm. Smay was released from the county jail after posting bail and faces one felony charge, possession of prohibited firearm.
Get prepared to get smayed.
Terroristic threats, intent to terrorize, and one charge of false imprisonment as well. 8 people suffered significant injuries after a boat in the Lake of the Ozarks ran aground and crashed into a house over the weekend.
This thing launched.
Yeah, because a chunk of the house is missing. The incident took place along the lake's main channel. Missouri State Highway Patrol responded to the crash just before midnight Saturday after troopers said the boat left the water and crashed into a home, causing it to flip, ejecting all 8 people on board. 2 people were inside the house, but neither were injured. I actually, at Lake of the Ozarks, we hit a buoy at full speed.
Oh, my God.
At night one night.
Oh, no.
And, so this is like these people were out, hauling ass at night, too, which you really should not do.
Years of boating.
I was not driving it, by the way.
I saw a cigarette. boat that's just super high powered. Yep. I saw that sucker lift out of the water, caught air, and started to flip back and then regain. But I'm like, that could have been horrific.
That's a close one. An incident report shows 4 women and 4 men ranging in age from 21 to 51 were transported to a hospital to be treated for moderate to serious injuries in the wreck. 47-year-old from Huntington, California, was the driver of the boat and was charged with boating while under the influence. All passengers on board the vessel lived out of state.
Steve, one of those cigarette boats actually crashed or flipped over and people died at the Jersey Shore. It was years ago, but
really?
I remember seeing it. It passed by us while we were on the beach, and then the next day we saw the news report.
People don't realize how powerful they are.
Oh, yeah. A 30-year-old man jumped off a Carnival cruise ship on Sunday on Florida, prompting a search by the Coast Guard. The man, later identified as Jalen Hill, was on the Carnival Elevation and went on overboard about 95 miles east of Melbourne. Carnival released a statement saying that Hill jumped off the ship while it was returning to Jacksonville, Florida. The crew was notified by his traveling companion Sunday afternoon about his missing status, and he had not been seen all day. After an exhaustive onboard search and a review of security camera video, it was determined that he jumped off.
So it was suicide, or they believe it's suicide.
Maybe, yeah. Carnival said shoreside authorities were notified about the incident. The ship's crew was advised to continue to Jacksonville, and Coast Guard officials later said that crews were suspending the search efforts after searching more than 1,300 square miles.
Who told us that they talked to an industry insider who said it happens more than you would think?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, like suicide on ocean cruises.
Yeah. An event volunteer was injured after falling out of a hot air balloon in Connecticut on Sunday night. Officers responded to the balloon glow and laser show at the Guilford Fairgrounds.
Was that part of the show?
For reports of an injured person who fell from a hot air balloon. Police say the 69-year-old man who fell was a volunteer for the event. He was helping passengers on and off a hot air balloon when police say the balloon began to rise.
Well, they do that.
The victim was hanging onto the exterior of the balloon basket. And there's a sweet spot where you've got to okay, I'm either hanging on or I'm letting go here. This guy let go. Fortunately, he was only about 15 feet off the ground.
All right.
But that's still 15 feet.
Yeah.
That's enough to hurt you pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. You guys saw that footage of it was just last month where people were holding on to a tent when this monsoon came through. And
like a backyard tent, yeah.
But a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And the huge gust of wind came and all these people just went flying. But I never got the story on did those people die? Because it looked like they could have died easily.
I missed it. Where was it?
Earth. I have no idea where.
Yeah.
It's definitely somewhere on this planet.
I tend to follow news from this planet.
We'll see if we can find out for you. And then we'll wrap with this story.
It's Good Evening Jupiter. Thanks for tuning in.
A 5-year-old sea otter who gained notoriety for commandeering surfboards has continued her reign as a viral sensation as she's managed to avoid multiple efforts to capture her.
Oh, back off one shot. Seriously.
That would be a waste of time.
For days, staff with California's Department of Fish and Wildlife and the Monterey Bay Aquarium have attempted to catch Otter 841.
I love this. There's so much footage of this thing jumping on surfboards.
But she has given them the slip each time. The mammal's actions have delighted online commenters who have cheered her on as she jumps on and off of CDFW boards and avoids the nets that staff tried to lure her into. But experts emphasize that 841 must be caught for her own well-being and safety because she's been exhibiting worrying behavior for a sea otter in the wild. The aquatic animal rose to prominence for her unusual interactions with surfers. She's been photographed and filmed atop boards that she's seized from riders, and most recently has been spotted eluding the CDFW's nets.
Is it possible she's an otter influencer?
Otter 841's online fans, so there you go.
There you go.
Describe her as a creature taking ownership of her watery home and avoiding capture because deep down she knows that captivity awaits her. Her antics have even inspired T-shirts and tote bags depicting 841 flying her nubby middle finger. I've not seen that yet. Sea otters are naturally wary of humans and will usually move away from them, but in 841's case, she's been swimming right up to people. Experts warn that this behavior is a sign that she has formed a positive association with humans, something that her caretakers have been trying to prevent.
Anything else would be a waste of time.
Since she was a pup. So, yeah, they're trying to get her before she gets herself
Back off, war child. Seriously.
some trouble. And that is what I have
Poor Otter.
in the bizarre file for you right now. All right, we are going to take a break. We'll come back in a moment. Don't forget, our friend Marc Summers is going to be here this morning. Always a treat when that gentleman stops by. So we'll spend some time with him. We'll get into some other things. Stay put. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
You weren't. Hey, you had to go because that's where your family was. I was telling you, Tommy, off air that I just started jumping into your book, Living in Color. What's funny about me? And I was telling these guys last night, like, this is an amazing freaking life. And you made mention of the fact when you found out you were black, explain how you came into this world when you were born. It's a brutal story that has now turned into something great. But
yeah. I was actually abandoned in the trash in the year 1966. I was found.
Yeah.
So I was 2.
Yeah.
Maybe under 2.
Yeah.
Coma, starved, contusions in the head, the whole night. But my mother, who found me randomly in the trash.
It's just
it's
amazing.
So she was a white woman from Wyoming, and her husband were down there in Greenville, Mississippi,
which is like one of the poorest
in the country. So they're teachers at Colorado State, and
right.
They heard Kennedy say, if you look back on this time in history, would you be able to be a white American that did something about the race problem?
Right.
So they wanted to do that. So they went down there and immunized kids and did that kind of stuff, and did voting drives. And they met my natural mom when they were doing those movements. They came back down there to pick up a program they were doing, and she was gone. And my mother's nosy.
Right.
She said she's gone. Well, where'd she go? And we think she went to Detroit, but she left her youngest baby at such and such a house. My mom is nosy and went to the house.
Right.
And kids doing drugs in there, and it was an abandoned house. So she said something told me when I walked out the door to look under this big tire that was on the top of the trash, and I moved it, and your foot was there.
Oh my God!
My God! And she said she moved the trash, and I had a torn shirt on and said, "I will be president in 20," and the rest was torn.
Wow!
It took me to the hospital. I stayed there 90 days. I lived, went to Fort Collins, Colorado, where I grew up until I was 5. Grew up on farms and meadows and
so all this time
animals and
with her.
With her and my brother and my sister.
Yeah. Okay.
My sister's was my same age. So we're twins, really, but she's blonde.
You related something. You relate something. You relate something and I saw also reading some interviews with you, and you brought up this point that I thought because you'd say, okay, cats can give birth to multiple colors, and you just thought that was you.
I thought that was me.
Yeah.
Because I'm in farms and animals are everywhere. So we saw litters. Me and my kid's sister play with kittens and puppies and all the time. And, I noticed that, it could be a black cat. It would have a white one, speckled one.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 black ones, a brown one, or a horse. Could be it could be a brown horse and have a white coat.
Yeah.
So I thought that, that's how we are. You know what I mean? So I'm a brown one.
Right.
I'm a brown one of whatever we are.
It's such a pure,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Innocent concept.
Yeah, until we got to Washington, D.C.
How old were you then?
I was 5. And we moved in there in 68.
So you started self-awareness around that age?
Oh, way self-awareness, boy. We moved there the week that King got shot.
Right.
So we moved in during the riots. Me and my sister on the ground, me and my brother, tear gas, fires. So we settled in this inner city neighborhood in D.C. because they broke up,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of jobs in D.C. And we come out to play with the kids, and they beat our ass, man.
Wow.
Every day. And they were calling my brother and my sister White Cracker. And calling me White Cracker Lover.
Because your mom was white.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just went to her and said, why are they calling me White Cracker Lover? I like graham crackers. You know what I mean? Like
They're better. They taste better.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so sad though when like
You know
the
what I mean?
innocence is ruined.
Yeah, it's just like, so she said, well, that's what people our color call people. That's what people your color call people our color when they don't like them.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what color am I? She said, you're black. I said, no, I'm brown.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the crayons. She said, yeah, but that's what we call you anyway. And so then I moved out to it got so bad, we moved out to the suburbs of Wheaton, Maryland. That's the first time I heard the N-word.
Right.
I got the FCC note, by the way. Yeah.
So it got exponentially worse.
Yeah.
The suburbs,
that was
which
worse
you thought would
because
be.
I was being chased by grown men.
Yeah.
Saying kill.
Yeah.
The Nick.
Yeah.
And I was barely getting in the house, and I'd be riding my bike, and a whole truckload of teenagers kill them.
Yeah.
You know? So I was running in the house, barely making it. They were throwing stuff through the window, shooting, and it was crazy. So
This is late 60s?
This is 69 now.
Okay.
I remember everything,
Yeah.
So I go to my mom and I go, who are these ends? We got to stay away from them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They must be really bad people.
Right.
Oh, and that's when she said, that's what our people call your people when they don't like them. Our color. And I said, well, what color are you? She said, I'm white. I said, you're not white, you're like beige.
Kids are so literal.
This is the stupidest damn thing in the world. You guys are mad at each other for colors you not really are.
But in that innocent thing, you're speaking absolute truth.
Yeah, it's like the dumbest thing, you know, but it is the world. So we moved to an integrated neighborhood, and this is a real story, and I'm sticking with it. The white teenagers chased me again.
Yeah.
Killed the neck.
Yeah.
But when the black teenagers came in front of me, the white teenagers went the other way.
Yeah.
And I've been black since that day.
Yeah. Right.
And it's been an education.
Right.
Well, so you
know what I mean?
you became going back to the earlier point. That's when you became aware of yourself, and that's when you got into the soul music and things of that nature. You're exposed to that.
I pretty much came aware of it as soon as I got to D.C.
Okay.
Because when I got to D.C., my mom is always make friends with everybody.
Right.
So my mom had all these black friends right away. So and I think she did it on purpose
to give you some culture.
She knew that I was talented, so she'd invite them over and put on James Brown.
Wow. Did she have any inclination towards this? Any musical capabilities or nothing?
My family is so far from music.
Yeah.
Cowboys from Wyoming.
Right.
But I was spoiled by them. All the love I got, and I was the spoiled child. And so I'd sing "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud."
Yeah.
Just because it was a song. But when I got in first grade, I put up the Black Power fist, doing the
Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, and I got in trouble, and
so you were making up for lost time.
Hey, listen, my mom, she did it all on purpose.
Yeah.
This took me time to look back on it, but she came into that office, boy, and she looked at the principal and the teachers, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And they were like, "He put up the Black Power fist." She said, "So what? That's all he knows about himself right now. Now, if you want to teach him something new, teach him something new. He just learned the Pledge of Allegiance just like the other students. So teach him. That's what he knows about himself so far."
It's such a fascinating, unintentional experiment. In a bizarre way, not to call it an experiment, but it's something that is just and this is, by the way, let people know, again, living in color. What's funny about me, it's just a side promotion, but I just started it. It's riveting.
Tommy, is your mom still alive?
No.
Okay.
No.
When did she pass?
She passed away probably about 12 years ago.
Okay. What an
But
amazing
still
woman.
alive, boy.
I would love
Still
to talk
alive.
to her. Yeah.
Well, she got to see a lot of your success, though.
I'm her greatest accomplishment.
Yeah.
I'm her greatest accomplishment. That's the Sweet Reunion is about her coming back to me through my daughter.
So who are your inspirations on the musical side? Obviously, we know the comedy. We're going to talk about the comedy. But
I'd have to just say the Association, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Grand Funk, Parliament, Rick James, Cameo, Fleetwood Mac, Kansas. Carry on my wayward son. It's all in me, man.
Yeah.
The Led Zeppelin Kool-Aid commercial. You need Kool-Aid.
You need Kool-Aid.
I ain't fooling. Want a whole lot of Kool-Aid. All right. Peter Frampton. Do you feel like I do?
Yeah.
That's
a wide exposure.
It's just, it all came my way, man.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So this show that is tonight. What can we expect?
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
I'm mixing now music with comedy. The saxophonist I'm playing with is excellent. So I'm doing comedy and doing music at the same time.
So your history, obviously we know you from the skit comedy in Living Color and obviously the movies and other the characters you've done and so on and so forth. But your stand-up career was pretty robust, and you got into the Comedy Store, Mitzi Shore.
You been reading.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And you were on a bill with Richard
I thought he
Pryor.
owned the Sixers.
Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, correct?
Yeah, when I first got in.
Wow. So you're
finally got to the main room after 3 years of like hitting the pavement.
And the main room's where you wanted to ascend to the
that's
main
where you wanna
room.
be.
And so, be careful what you wish for. You end up on that bill, and you were middling for that.
Yep. And we all had the same time.
Explain what that was like. Give us a taste of that. I mean, you
that
have
was like
arguably the greatest comedic minds in stand-up of all time.
It was opportunity meets preparation and desperation. But I was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready. I'd been put through the fire. I was just about to go home from Hollywood. My mom sent me a couple of days earlier, those big legal pads that used to have the long yellow paper.
Yeah.
She put in magic marker. She folded up a $20 bill and put in magic marker.
Our next guest has come to a second home, the Preston and Steve Studios, to chat a little bit. No, for real. To chat a little bit about this and that, including that. We're going to talk about that. But the Life and Slimes of Marc Summers, 5 shows, August 3rd through the 6th at the Mount Gretna Playhouse. And we'll tell you where that is. You can get tickets at gretnatheater.org. And it will star the one and only Marc Summers. This morning. Nice to see you, sir.
On your mark.
Yeah. You know what? Steve we were off air, and lately we've been playing that clip quite a bit.
Shut the f*** up! I heard it coming in, as a matter of fact, yeah.
And he's like, we need to get Mark to
just recount
that.
What precipitated that?
What that moment was.
Because it is so classically you in the best of ways.
We were doing Double Dare at one of Steven Starr's restaurants, and we had to constantly tell the audience not shout out any answers. And I asked the first question, and somebody shouted the answer out, and I said, "Shut the f*** up!" Exactly. There you go. And
never did that on Double Dare,
No,
did
never
you?
did that. Nickelodeon wouldn't allow that to happen at the time. But you see, that was the fun part because when we did those Nickelodeon shows here in town for like 4 or 5 years, it's the other Marc Summers. Everybody expects this squeaky clean, guy. And, the real Marc Summers is...
Yeah, there you go.
Hit it.
Shut the There you go.
Yeah. But we love all versions.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That stage show that you did,
Yeah.
is any talks of that coming back? That was really cool.
No, Steven Starr walked in the last time and saw a crowded place, and he was making tons of money, and he said, I just don't get this, and walked out. So I don't think we're ever going to be doing that again. Although that was we had a ball.
Dunkle Dare, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dunkle Dare.
Right.
And many of you participated in that.
Oh, that was fun.
But was that the same as when you were on stage at one of the theaters?
That's the Life and Slimes of Marc Summers.
Well, that was the documentary that I did. I've been screwing around with my life since I've been unemployed doing silly things. But yeah, we're doing this thing out at Mount Gretna, and I'm so glad you guys are allowing me to be here because it's beautiful there in Mount Gretna, and I'm staying in and I have to pronounce this correctly slowly, Lidditz. Thank you. And were
you worried because we lost a lot of good men climbing Mount Gretna?
But the issue is at the Mount Gretna Theater at the beginning of the season, apparently the head of marketing and promotion quit, and they didn't hire anybody else, and so nobody knows this show is even existing.
Oh, no. Man!
And they did Gypsy, a great production of Gypsy last weekend, and there were 100 people there in a 700-seat theater. And so our ticket sales, I'm going to be totally honest, suck. And so it's because nobody knows that we're going to be there.
It's one of the key things to promoting something. You have to tell people about it.
Yeah, otherwise they don't know.
Right. Well, we know this show is phenomenal. It is you. It is your life. It is your experience. It's everything. It's personal. It's candid. It's funny. Discusses everything you'd want to see. It's done extraordinarily well all over the country. So that sucks that this change up in personnel is resulting in this situation.
Yeah, it's
normally
very
you'd have
frustrating.
no trouble at all.
No, we've been rehearsing for about 10 days, and we're going into tech this weekend, and we're going to put on the show that we're going to put on the show.
Yeah.
But I'd like people in the audience. It actually helps us as performers, as you folks know.
Right.
So it's not that far a drive. I made it an hour and 12 minutes this morning, and come out and see us. We do audience participation. We play Double Dare. There's all sorts of cool stuff going on. Afterwards, you want to hang out and talk, take pictures, do autographs, whatever you want to do. Just fill those seats. Help me out here.
That's it has happened to large productions, and it doesn't matter. It's the luck of the draw. If you have something where there's a change up in the ownership, or somebody doesn't get the right word about promotion, or lack of movie promotion, or you see about it on a large scale with theatrical films being released, and what's eating up the theaters when we're trying to get this released, and the kind of Tetris that has to be played. But I mean, this is an essential thing. You have nobody there who gives a rat's ass about promoting it.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And, people aren't going out. Listen, COVID changed the world. We all know that. Broadway, you can go to get a ticket of Hamilton like you couldn't before. And I understand even the Walnut Street Theater here is having issues because people aren't attending there as well. So theater is, having problems. But I'd love to perform for more than 80 people in a 700-seat theater.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Come out and see us. We're there on the 3rd. We're doing a matinee and an evening show, and then 4, 5, 6, we're doing evening shows. So come out and enjoy the fun and hang out with us.
And it's close to Hershey Park, too. You can zip right over there. You could make a whole weekend.
Dutch Wonderland. You can see how the Amish build houses.
They got a wolf sanctuary in Lidditz, Mark.
They do?
They do. Yeah, I swear to God, I've been. It's one of the best in the world, and it's a lot of fun.
How opposed would you be to wolves in the audience?
Yeah, as long as they pay, whatever it takes, I could. As long as they're not in sheep's clothing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So you guys were talking about packing. Here's my little trick. When I go on a trip to Europe, I go to Old Navy, and I buy about $200 worth of clothes, and I just throw it away.
Oh my God!
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I don't take anything back.
So you consider that as just a cost of the vacation, of the trip?
100%. I buy cheap underwear, cheap shirts, cheap everything, and instead of worrying about putting it in a suitcase and schlepping it back or finding a place to wash, I just throw it away.
Mark,
Okay, is this so you can make room for things you purchase while you're on vacation?
No. I just don't want- no.
He just doesn't want to deal with it.
I don't want to deal with it, and it's inexpensive.
What if you're busting drugs back? How do you?
Where are you going to hide those?
It makes it more difficult.
I've got a friend that does the exact same
Really?
thing. Not everything, but underwear, socks, undershirts, like things like that. Just
Wow.
completely leaves them in the hotel room.
I'm here for 3 weeks, and so I was counting how many pairs of underwear. I heard you guys talking about that, in socks, and I brought a little too much, but I'd rather have that than go schlep at a laundromat or something.
So over the course of years of your traveling and so on and so forth, not to evoke a name that has no relation to you, Ron Jeremy, he would literally throw his. He came in here. He had his quote unquote luggage. It was like a CVS bag with a couple of shirts and some stuff. That was it.
Really?
Yeah, like that refined. And look how well he's doing now.
I was shooting a show for the segment for the home show on these steps in Santa Monica that people would exercise on, and there was this house to the right, and all these weird people were there. And all of a sudden, I came up. We had 5 minutes to sort of relax and drink some water, or whatever. And out of this car comes Ron Jeremy, and he looks at me, and goes, Aren't you that guy on Double Dare? And I said, yeah. He says, we're shooting a movie in here. You want to come in?
Oh, my God.
I said, no, that's not the physical challenge I really want to do right now.
Could you imagine?
No.
And it got rated.
Curiosity didn't get the best of you. Wanted to see that live?
No, I had a career at that point with kids.
All right.
I had
Yeah,
no
good
interest,
point.
Good point. That I wanted to go in there.
Hey,
and
kids, I want to tell you about my afternoon with Ron Jeremy.
Yes. Oh, my God.
God, that would have been
man.
a career killer at that point. Yeah.
Now, the internet didn't exist then, but still, it would have taken 5 minutes for that to get out.
Hey, I wanted to point out Marc Summers Unwraps. This is your podcast
Yes,
that
sir.
you started earlier this year.
Yes, sir.
And you sent me an email from a listener of our show who is just absolutely loves the podcast.
Great.
And finds a lot of healing out of it, actually, from listening to people tell their stories in the way that Mark conducts the interview. And it's such a great, you have such a conversational style. It reminds me of kind of what we do.
Yeah,
Let's sit down
100%.
and just talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
And you've had some really great people on. The most recent is Howie Mandel. I've not seen that yet.
We did 2 segments with Howie, and he opened. I've known Howie for 40 years. I used to open for him. We used to play a place called Stocks 2 in Orange County, and I was his opening act. And so we go that far back. I did an intervention. His wife called me at one point 25 years ago to do an intervention on the OCD stuff. So we go way back. And the question was, I'm going to ask you questions that nobody is probably has asked, or you're not going to answer them. And he opened up. His producer said at the end, "Wow, he felt so comfortable. He said things I've never heard." But this was fun.
He's speaking to a kindred spirit.
Well, yeah,
and it did make the news. A lot of what he was revealing about it was just very, I thought,
100%.
touching and. Kudos to you for having the wherewithal to get that out of him.
Well, and I've known things about Howie that I thought were true, but I didn't know. And I played the game of, I'm going to say something. I've heard this. Is it true or not? The first one was when he first started going out on the road, we had a set of tongs, and he would take the tongs to pull the bedspread back and then order like 100 towels and put them all over the floor so he didn't have to step on anything. I said, true. He said 100%. Wow. But this was the one that got me. I had heard when he first moved out, he was from Canada, and he would go out in the desert on the weekends and look where there were housing developments going to happen at some point. And he went and bought the corners of all these places. And then when the housing developments came in, he sold those corners to 7-Elevens and to gas stations.
Wow.
And he, show business. He is one of the smartest business. Howie made more money doing that kind of stuff than he ever did doing.
So he had,
others.
so you hear about these stories occasionally, like people like Wayne Rogers, from MASH, was a real estate genius, an investment genius.
Who was Wayne Rogers?
He was a
on
trapper.
MASH.
He was Trapper John. Okay.
Yeah, I flew back on a plane with him once, and we had that discussion, and he was brilliant.
Like and eclipsed their acting career profits tenfold.
Oh yeah, and so Howie has he has a 30,000 square foot studio now that he leases out, and he couldn't make it to my studio to do the podcast, so he said, "Why don't you just do it in mine?" And so I did. It was amazing.
Wow.
So that was good, and we just had on Kevin Pollak, who was brilliant.
He's great.
Oh, we did a 2-parter with him. Our ratings that weekend went up that week 3,000%.
Wow.
So in your obviously we talked about when it was premiering and what you were looking for and what kind of conversation you were looking for, and you have your list. And I forget if I asked. I'm sure I did, but I forgot the answer. So who's number one on your must-get list?
Tom Hanks still.
Tom Hanks still.
I would love to get him there. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but you know me. I'll figure out a way to get it done.
Pretend that you've abducted Rita Wilson.
Yeah, there you go. That might work.
Right,
but we had Fluffy on, who was brilliant, and Anthony Ramos, who was fantastic. Yeah. We had Al Roker on. We've been getting some really good people.
Do you sense with the glut of all the podcasts and the cross interviewing that do you have to fight a little bit harder to get people to come visit you, or what are you experiencing as far as guest acquisition? Because there's so many of them going on, and it's so incestuous.
Yeah, and in week one, they said there were 850,000 podcasts. Week one, we were number 77. Go figure that one out. I don't know how that even happened. But even I, who get asked to do way too many, I'm saying no more and more because the problem that I have, people don't do their homework. They ask me the same 10 questions over and over again. And what I say is, send me 5 questions that I've never been asked, and I'll do your podcast. And either they don't or they can't.
Right.
But, talking about Double Dare and OCD and all that kind of stuff over and over again, it's enough.
Do you watch Hot Ones? It's a First We Feast. It's a YouTube channel. And the premise of the show is that they sit around and they drink varying degrees of hot sauce and put them on chicken wings. And it loosens the guests up. Well, John Mulaney was on not that long ago. And at the end of the interview, he complimented the host and said, nobody has ever asked me any of those questions before, which means that he did do his homework, And so when you have somebody like Kevin Pollak on, who has a million great stories, how do you steer it in a direction that might be new, take angles that people haven't before?
I read, he had this book that he wrote 9 or 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first thing I did. And it was interesting. My producer called and said, would you do the Marc Summers podcast? And his quote was, I'll do anything for Marc Summers. I never met the guy.
Wow.
I didn't know he even knew who I was.
How flattering.
And so he was, and we had lunch like the next week together.
I thought you were someone else.
Right. No, the lunches have been weird.
I thought you were in the police. Andy Summers.
No, I finally have sort of embedded myself in the community of Montecito where I live now. And so this sounds braggadocious. Once again, I don't mean to do that. But every Wednesday I have lunch with Dennis Miller. And
love Dennis
he is the smartest. I have to take an encyclopedia and a thesaurus and a dictionary because I don't know what he's saying half the time. But the other day, Tom Preston was my boss at MTV, and he now lives up in that neck of the woods. And we went to lunch, and he said, "I heard you have lunch with Dennis Miller." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can I come?" And I said, "I'm sure you can. Let me call Dennis." So I said, "Do you remember Tom Preston?" He said, "Oh yeah, he hired me to host the MTV Music Awards like 30 years ago." And I said, "He wants to have lunch." He said, "Can I bring somebody?" So I said, "Sure. Who do you want to bring?" He said, "You'll see." And he walked in with Michael Douglas.
Wow.
That was insane.
Wow. Holy hell.
Yeah. And I was like, for the first 20 minutes going, humana.
Yeah.
And then my first question was, "Do you have any great Carl Malden stories?" And he just lit up and started talking about Carl Malden and the streets of
San Francisco.
And we were there for 2.5 hours. It was pretty darn
And
cool.
Carl Malden was one of the great. He was out of that school with Brando and Eva Marie Saint and all of those, with the new breed of actors at the time, who became the character.
Yes.
Wow. See, that's great. And the fact. It happened, if you talk about I think about what happened with Tarantino and John Travolta. Travolta's career was on the skates, but then all these people who kind of grew up, loving him as Barbarino, whatever. Tarantino, he got that job specifically because Tarantino had a Barbarino lunchbox and loved. So you have figured prominently into memories of a lot of these people who are now coming up, and then the older people have respect for you. So
it's kind of neat.
It has to be cool.
He never called his dad Daddy. I always referred to him as Kirk.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. And at one point, I'll probably get slapped for this one, but I said, "Michael, I heard you lived up here, but I didn't realize you were still here." And he said, "Well, I moved away for a while." And when my dad was sort of close to the end, he said to his wife, and this is Michael Douglas saying, "What shall we do with the house?" He was doing an impression of his dad with a stroke, which I went, "Oh my God." And he said,
He can do
"Give it to Michael." I went, "Okay." So, yeah, that was, one of those weird moments.
By the way, we contend that Michael Douglas's performance in Behind the Candelabra as Liberace is one of the greatest things ever committed to film. It's just brilliant.
He's brilliant.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
he does. But, that was a rare sort of interesting departure from what you would think Michael Douglas would be doing.
I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned before we came on, you took a long trip and you were at Elton John's absolute last concert.
In London, and that was spectacular. I'm always concerned about the sound in these large arenas,
Right.
20,000 seater, and it was picture perfect. It sounded so amazing. Now the tickets were insanely expensive. I went online and they were like $3,000 or $4,000 a piece, which I thought, there's no way in hell I'm going to pay that for anybody. And I remembered my good old friend Neil Patrick Harris was friends, so I called Neil and I said, "This is the biggest ask in the world, but can you?" And he got me Elton John house tickets for a total of $400.
Wow!
And we were 8 rows from the center, and it was just spectacular.
Well, he and his husband and Elton John and David Furnish, I think is his husband, they pal around all the time.
All the time, because they had kids the same age.
Yeah.
And when Neil was in California and Elton was there, so it pays to have friends in high places, and that's how we ended up going there.
So who were you? Whose knobs were you hobbing that evening?
Well, you know what? When he was in L.A., he had a boatload of people doing guest things, and we figured, man, we're in London. Who's going to come out? Is Ringo or Paul McCartney? Nobody.
Really?
He did the whole concert by himself, and he was very melancholy, saying, "This is my last concert here. I can't believe it."
Ladies and gentlemen, Marc Summers.
But it was just fantastic.
Oh man,
it was pretty spectacular.
So it was more the emotion hit him there. You saw it, yeah.
It really did, But he was so good, friends who went to the one in Dodger Stadium said that he wasn't, doing all the words and vowels weren't there and all that stuff. And I watched the concert. I disagree with that, but he was so spectacular when we saw him that time.
The greatest concerts I ever saw was him, and I think was it Ray Cooper's percussionist, Preston, who's had.
Yes, I believe so.
Right.
The bald guy,
right?
Yeah.
So it was just him, and Elton had a Steinway, and then like an electric piano.
Oh man!
And did close to 4 hours.
Oh my!
This is after he had the polyps removed. Remember, he had that issue, and he had done the Sydney Opera House as well. It was a double live album. It was it was all old catalog stuff, but it was astonishingly amazing. As you talk about, apparently he is, or at least now at this point, performing wise, was very hands-on with the acoustics of wherever he was playing.
Well, and it's like going to see Billy Joel. Every song is a hit.
Yeah.
You know, there's not one that you go, I never heard that before.
Yeah.
They were all pretty amazing.
Wow.
Last time I was here, did I tell my my Oprah story about the dog walking?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So I'm in the neighborhood, okay? I mean, of Miss Winfrey.
Yes.
And I'm
just down the road,
Just
right?
down the road. And occasionally I see her walking around, but I've never bothered her, okay? So I'm making a left turn into my driveway, and here comes Oprah walking, okay?
Right.
Now, she's doing this exercise power walk stuff now. And so when she walks, it's her and then somebody behind her walking her dog, and then it's some security people. So it's like an
entourage.
An entourage.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I've never gone up. I'm going to do that. So I parked my car real quick, and I went and got my dog. And I figured, well, when she comes back up the street,
oh, that's a smart move.
I'm just going to say, hey,
Right,
Oprah,
right.
do you remember when I did your show and all that stuff? Well, I'm waiting there for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. She doesn't show up. And then I slowly see them coming up, and her security people apparently saw me. So they make a right turn. I'm thinking, well, why are they turning right? Her house is straight. Where is
Right.
she going? So now I don't want to look like a stalker, but I start to do like double time with my dog trying to get close to them. So I get to the corner there, and as I'm going down, the security people are looking behind like, oh, who's this guy who's following us? So they take a left turn at this first street. And now I walk the neighborhood all the time. I do 5-6 miles a day.
Right.
So I knew that street was a dead-end street. Okay. So I figured, well, I'm just going to wait till the end of the street. I'm not going to follow him up there. And then when we get to the end, I'm going to meet him.
They can't escape you.
And they
Yeah.
can't escape me. So as you go up this street, there's a house on the right, house on the left, and it's just gigantic gate, which leads into something. I don't know what it leads into. And they get to the end there, and that gate opens.
Oh.
And Oprah walks through that gate, and the gate closes, and I went, what the hell is that? And I did some research. She owns that property too. And so she can get to that gate and then get a staircase up to, as she calls it, the promised land, so she can get away with guys from me who want to go talk to her.
Oh, my God.
If the gate hadn't been there, a helicopter would have flown.
In all probability.
landed.
But I was this close.
The Oprah copter.
And is that the only chance you really had? Was that one walk?
Yeah, I've seen her across the street. I didn't, but I just thought, why not? I did her show 3 times. I mean, maybe she'll remember, maybe not.
She would. I'm sure she would respond well. But you have her security team is obviously, this to get paid to.
When I do my walks, she's got this back gate, and if you put one foot on the brick, you hear, "Excuse me, can I help you?" Yeah, and I go, "I'm just taking a walk." Okay, off the property, please. So it's like,
wow.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Let me tell you,
Mark, I love following you on Instagram so much so that your Instagram account has become a topic of conversation in my home. My fiance and I talk about where you're going and where you've been.
Really?
And and we love Santa Barbara. We love that part of Southern California. It's unbelievable. But I have to ask you about your experience in Morocco because the photos look so cool. What was that like? Had you ever been before?
I'd never been. I had no interest in going to Morocco. Alice and I wanted to go to Switzerland for our 49th anniversary, but found out that Switzerland doesn't really open until after June 15th, and I couldn't do it then.
And Morocco's the new Switzerland. So.
Well, it's yeah, right. And so my travel agent said, "Why don't you go to Morocco?" And I said, "Never thought about it." And so she sent me information, and I said, "Alice, do you want to do it?" And we did. It was unbelievable. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like walking back in the 9th century in some parts where there are women carrying 50 pounds of alfalfa with a donkey and their husband behind saying, go faster.
Wow.
But we went and camped out in, pretty insane tents in the Sahara Desert and hit a windstorm that you would not have believed. But then we went to some Bedouins' tents out in the middle of nowhere. And the fact that these people have lived like this for thousands and thousands of years and continue to live
in the
like
most
this.
brutal terrain imaginable.
Oh, my God. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so Fez was fascinating because there's these alleyways where there's donkeys and you're dodging donkeys and all this stuff. Marrakesh was beyond cool, though. I mean, it's like New York on speed, but...
were you traveling of your own free will, or were you with a tour? I assume you'd have to have someone who's...
I can't do tours. I can't do tours. But we had, forgive me, we had a driver and a guide from the minute we got there. They picked us up, and so they drove us to all these places. I don't think anybody can go to Morocco on their own.
Right.
And so the things we saw, because this guy was from there, and he took us in some back roads up mountains to Marrakesh that were spectacular. But we stayed at a place called the La Mamounia Hotel, 100 years old. Oh, my God, this place was just spectacular. And across the street was a hotel run by the royal family. And we heard, well, just go in there and check it out. We did. Alice and I had a drink. It was $87 for 2 drinks. I
there you go.
To stay there, but that was insane.
Well, what about the cuisine in general?
Well,
since that's
here's what's interesting.
Your real house.
I don't find the food that we had, and we went to supposedly nice places, particularly good. Yeah. Nobody in America or in Morocco uses salt and pepper or any other seasonings. Yeah. So after a while, it got like, oh my God, I got to get real food. So when we got to Marrakesh, they said, we have set up a dinner at the best restaurant, and it was at this King's Hotel. And I said, do me a favor, cancel it. And they said, why? I said, I heard Nobu just opened. So we went to Nobu in Marrakesh as opposed to yeah.
Get a taste of the local fare.
Cuisine. But the nicest people you've ever seen, you go to the marketplace in Marrakesh, it's so colorful. The sights, the sounds, the aromas, it was spectacular.
Everything you wanted it to be.
Oh, and more.
And more.
If you're just tuning in, Marc Summers is here. I want to remind you of the Life and Slimes of Marc Summers. There are 5 shows August 3rd through the 6th. It's at Mount Gretna Playhouse, and you go to gretnatheater.org. And, of course, the podcast we already talked about, Marc Summers Unwraps. You can find that in and around where all podcasts are available, on YouTube, too, if you want to check that out. We turned to you for travel advice and tips. I've asked you about restaurants when we've gone. Where have you not explored yet? Is there any region of the world that is still on the bucket list that you've never been to?
I asked my wife, where do you want to go for our 50th? I'm not a cruise guy, and you just did a cruise. We're going to Alaska.
Nice.
All right.
Steve's done it.
It's in my top
Alaska trip.
And what did you love about it?
No, he did. He did the Alaska cruise.
It is again. You talk about something that you've seen constantly in movies and I'd been to Washington, and I'd been to, and I'd actually been into Alaska. Driving, taking the cruise because and seeing it that way was astonishing. It's I always say, if God was to build a home, he'd build it there, because it's like you're looking at an ultimate dichotomy, because you're looking at this incredible beauty, and were you not on that ship or whatever vehicle you're on at the time and out at what you're looking at, you would die pretty quickly. Because it's just, but that's where nature lives, and they're all, you almost get the impression like, yeah, go and look, but you're on our turf now, Mother Ever.
I've heard it's. I had a friend who's done it 3 times. I said, well, it must be spectacular if you're going 3 times. So we're doing that next July.
It will blow you away.
Switzerland is another place, because I've not really spent much time there, and so that'll be next. But I haven't been to Japan.
That's on my bucket list. Yeah. I mean, again, I was telling these guys, my dad, who just turned 95, he recorded his journals from his life, and he has sort of a summation at the end. He gave it to the sons as a gift, before he passes. You don't live forever, so it's a wonderful thing that he did. And the thing that he stressed was, and it's not something I've really taken to heart over, I used to do it years ago, a lot of travel. He said, you've got to travel in life.
Yeah.
Whatever level you can travel at, you've got to travel. You've got to see different places.
100%.
And so I'm trying to do that.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Casey just took his second time through the Grand Canyon, a river trip through there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's the way to go. So like your friend who's done Alaska 3 times, you're thinking about doing it again.
Yeah, I'll definitely go again, because the first 2 times I went, I didn't bring my children, and 2 of them I think would definitely want to go. So it's just it's a magical place.
That's what I hear. I've been there once or twice, but I haven't done the river thing.
Oh my God.
Where are you going next, Nick?
Oh, next? I don't know. I'll pick another national park. I've never been to Alaska, so that's certainly on the list. I haven't been to Hawaii either. So this past trip, past vacation that we took, I didn't really do much of anything. But I think you would love, if you haven't been, and maybe you have, Iceland.
No, I haven't been there yet. It's on the bucket list as well. Have you been to Yosemite National Park?
Yeah, a few times, yeah.
Zion?
Yeah, Zion, yeah. I'm at 26 or 27 national parks at this point.
How's your hiking game, Mark?
It's interesting. So Tom Preston is 76 years old, and he said, I heard you like to hike. Let's take a hike. So he took me, almost killed me. This man is so much better shape than I am. At one point, I fell and went down a hill,
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm still doing my 5 or 6 miles a day, but I'm trying hard to keep up with Preston, because he does these. He said, look up there. You see those antennas? I said, yeah. And it was like hundreds of miles away. And he said, that's where we're going. I went, oh my God.
You're insane.
Yes, yeah. So, but I'm still doing that, and it feels great. And I'm trying to stay in shape. What can I say? It's harder and harder.
I wanted to ask you about this show, but and I know that obviously as you live more, are you weaving in new material as it as you take it around the country?
Yes. As things change in my life, we try to add it. Now, I'm lucky enough to have Alex Brightman, who was the star of School of Rock and
Super talented.
Beetlejuice, write this show. And so he's brilliant in that whole situation. And, we try and keep it updated. And, people, I think, somehow they don't know what to expect, and I kind of spill my guts out about all the OCD stuff.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally is. You're being that candid, but it's also done with your inherent wit, you know, which makes it. If people think they're going to be put off by it, no, you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate that.
And your OCD, for those people who may not be aware of it, it's not the germ obsession. It's more numbers and shapes and things like that. Order.
Yeah, order. Keeping at the time, like we just bought a rug in Morocco and it had fringe on it, and I said no fringe, so they took it off.
Because that's part of the story.
That's part of the deal.
You talk about that you would actually make sure the fringe of a carpet that you had were completely lined up around the entire perimeter of the carpet.
And that's what got me help, because I used to try to sneak it because I knew what I was doing was insane. And Alice woke up at 1:30 in the morning, and I was on my hands and knees straightening the fringe. And she said, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "I have no idea." She said, "That doctor that you had on TV, call him tomorrow morning." And then that turned my life around.
I wanted to ask you on Double Dare, when you were doing the show, and so obviously you had all these kids, and you had their parents.
Yes.
And I was trying to think, would there be a groupie equivalent? Did you ever have a mother or even a father try to apply sexual
advances?
Bribing?
Right. To get a preferred status for their contestant child.
The only time that happened, I was doing a live personal appearance, and we would, people would pay to do pictures and stuff. And there was this really cute little woman there with a kid, 7, 8-year-old kid. And she came over to me and she went to shake my hand, and she said, "It's my phone number and my address. My husband's a cop. He works midnight to 6.
Oh my
Call
God.
me." And I thought, I'm going over to a cop's house. He happens to get home early with his gun. I'm not going to do it anyway. But
What the hell?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you ever see the movie Death to Smoochie?
No, I don't
With
remember.
Robin Williams? No.
No.
It takes the darker side of
the
kids programming.
Really?
And it's way over the top. It's ridiculously over the top. But it starts off with like a bribing thing that happens, and it leads
Danny
to,
DeVito directed.
Oh, you got to see it, Tom. It's
I gotta see that.
so horribly wrong.
We talk in the show about when I was playing the Comedy Store, and I was there in '76, so I would either go before or after Letterman, Leno, Andy Kaufman, Paul Mooney, and then Robin came in. And after I was there like 3 years, Mitzi called me up and said, "Mark, there's nothing else I can do for you. You're going to have to leave." And
Wow.
I give one of the best lines from the show. She said, "You're no Leno, you're no Carlin." And I was still going under Mark Berkowitz. And she said, "And there's another Berkowitz, and he's killing more than you."
Oh, man. Great line.
That is good.
And Alex Brightman line, so that was brilliant.
Oh, my goodness. I
Those
love
days, though, were so amazing because Dave and Jay would stand in front of the store and just have conversations, and Richard Pryor would be there every night performing, and then Andy Kaufman was doing the Tony Clifton character.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You've got to wonder when the next thing like that is going to happen, and where we may not realize that we're standing amongst the surfacing giants.
Will there
right
be?
Now. I don't know. That's a good question.
Because you actually had an edifice there.
Yeah.
That was, now it's obviously, you have channels and YouTube channels and so on and so forth.
TikTok.
But just that average casual, because I've seen pictures of Letterman, and you talk about the strike. I remember the comedians had a strike, right? When they felt Mitzi was not taking care of them well
no
enough.
money, no funny. It was what the
Right.
said.
And there's like there's pictures of like Scorsese and Spielberg and all these guys just hanging out as teenagers.
Yeah.
All these geniuses were together. You got to wonder when and where and in what form that will take again.
I think I'm too
someday.
stupid to recognize it when it
Yeah,
happens.
I think so too, man.
I was a nervous wreck about that because I had just become a regular.
Right.
And Letterman called me up and said, "We're doing a meeting at my house about this potential strike. It's at 2:00 on Sunday, so you need to come." And so I didn't show up because I was in fear of, then I'll never become a regular after this and all that kind of stuff. And Dave called me the next day and said, quote, "You're either with us or you're against us."
And Letterman actually listen, Mitzi, their relationship ended with that when he went out on strike. She took it as a stab in the back.
Yep.
Yeah. But not that it hurt long-term his career.
No. Well, yeah, I mean, and when it came to late night television, I was a Letterman guy, not a Leno fan. But Leno is a great guest, and whenever we've had him on a couple of times, could you get him on? Or you should get him on?
Oh, I could. I mean, I probably could.
He's got a million stories, and he's still in the news because he had the unfortunate accident recently. So
two of them.
Yeah, two of them. And he just did Bill Maher's. I've seen him on a couple of things, and it's funny that you bring that up because I'm trying to think what would I ask him that hasn't been asked already.
Sure.
The Letterman story has been beaten to death, and I don't think I'd even want to go down that direction. But he is nobody worked harder, and still to this day, as a stand-up comic. And the fact that he supposedly never used any of his Tonight Show money, he just lived off of his money.
Stand-up,
yeah. And I mean, the story that I heard recently, and I'm assuming it's true because a dear friend of his told me, they were driving around up in Rhode Island, where all the fancy schmancy homes are. I can't remember. Newport.
Yeah.
And apparently, this is a story I heard. His wife was saying, "Oh, that's beautiful, and Jay, hey, you want that house?" And he supposedly knocked on the guy's door and said, "I'm Jay. You want to sell your house?" And the guy sold him his house with the furniture and everything in it. And Jay said, "Here's your money and thanks." And and I guess he goes there 4 weeks a year or something. But yeah, it's just insane. And all those guys with the cars. I'm not a car guy, but Jay's got his cars and Letterman's got his cars. Seinfeld's got his cars, and I just had Fluffy on Gabriel Iglesias, and he's got cars, but only Volkswagen buses.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
He loves that.
Yeah.
Tim Allen's another big collector.
Oh, is he really?
Tim Allen's huge into the cars. Yeah. You got to have your warehouse and all that stuff. What do you collect at any level? What provides you comfort for nothing?
Nothing. I want clutter out of my life.
Okay.
And when we moved out of L.A. and up to the Santa Barbara area, we got rid of so much stuff. In fact, when we left Philadelphia, we lived across. We were on Broad Street, and there was a shelter and place for people to go. And I took, I don't need winter coats in California, and we just brought everything over there and gave it to folks because I didn't need it. And less is more.
Yeah.
We're at that stage of our lives.
Yeah, you're in Kathy's camp.
Me too. I'm like, yes.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I just had to clean out the whole first floor of my home, everything, every last thing there. And it was like, so I don't know.
It's the best feeling, right?
Yeah. And I was like, I don't use it. I just took drawers of stuff, and I was like, we don't use this. And I was just throwing it in the trash. It was like a
100%.
party.
Now, you wouldn't consider yourself a minimalist, though, or anything like that?
Not quite, but much better than I used to be.
Okay.
Where, the problem in our industry is everybody wants to give you a T-shirt, okay?
Yes. Oh, my God.
So I had hundreds of T-shirts.
And then you feel so bad. A lot of times people come in here and offer us T-shirts.
Yes.
And you know that they had a promotional budget that was limited.
Yeah.
And we're like, use it to promote,
Yes.
And it's such a nice thing, but you end up with them anyway.
It is. But when I come here for 3 weeks, I just bring some of those T-shirts.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Or Old Navy.
Whichever works. It's amazing.
Wow.
The only reason that wear and leave isn't going to work for me is because it takes me a long time to find stuff that I'm comfortable in and fits me. So I'm not leaving it.
She hands some of her stuff down to me. Yeah.
Oh, you look good in it.
Thank you.
Steve takes my hand-me-down.
Mark, before we wrap up, I had mentioned the most recent episode of the podcast is Howie Mandel. Do you want to mention who's coming up in the near future, or are you holding off on that?
I'm holding off on that because I'm taking the summer off. We're in the process of booking some people, and in August we'll make some announcements. But right now, until they're solid, I better not say anything.
All right. Well, when we'll get the word out, let us know, please. We're happy to help.
Thank you for letting me do this.
Oh, my God. Our pleasure.
The Life in Slimes of Marc Summers is August 3rd, and that goes through the 6th at Mount Gretna Playhouse, and tickets are available at gretnatheater.org. See, I'm playing Boys of Summer.
Yes,
Summer, so.
it's a gorgeous ride out there.
It is. It's a beautiful area.
You can make a whole day of it, and then the evening as well.
Yep.
There's a place called the Rooster Butcher Shop in Lidditz. Amazing food. Go.
All right. Nice. Excellent. Great to see you, Mark. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, as all.
All right.
Be well.
Marc Summers, guys. Yeah. Show. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve
on 93.3 WML.
So I get on the stage, and I'm in between the two for 4 shows, and I got standing ovations, man.
Because the last thing, so I did stand up for a while. You would want to you'd want to be the MC, you'd want to be the opener, but you don't want to be anywhere near following one of those two. And yet you did. And Pryor himself kind of gave you a nice
Pryor
assessment.
came down to me, man. We were in a little hovel. You know, the green room got the chicks and the food, you know.
Right.
Ours looked like a closet, you know. And he looked me up and down, shook his head, and looked me in the face. He said, man, you was a funny, and walked away.
God.
I called my mom. I was like, she said, I told you not to leave. You know, I told you not to leave, you know.
Wow. That's so
that
cool.
was it. But I have faith in mankind.
Yeah.
It happened here in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Not the smack.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. A woman died at my show here.
Whoa. Really?
Yes.
Huh.
And I have faith in mankind. I invited her.
Yeah.
So I went to a check cashing place on a Sunday to try to cash my check, and the place was closed. But there was still people in there. You know how they lock it, but there's
right.
You know, just lock it behind you because we're closed and no one knows it. So the people saw me and were like, "Let him in." And I came in and I was in line, and the people were like, "You know who he is?" And she leaned over and she said, "Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for coming." I was like, "No, thanks for letting me in."
Yeah.
And so she's doing her stuff, and she said, "What are you doing in town?" And I said, "I'm doing a show." She said, "Oh man, wow, you have a show tonight? You made my whole birthday coming here." I said, "Why don't you come tonight?" She comes with her two kids, like 20, 22, 23 years old. 15 minutes into the show, massive heart attack.
Oh my God.
Whoa. No one knows this though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the team is working on them. We walk everybody out. You know, they say she's gone. I think people knew. But there wasn't a dryer in the house.
Yeah.
You know, nobody thought that was funny at all.
Right.
And, you know, we did another show. They left it on me. You know, you want to do another show? I said, yeah, we have to do another. Our job is happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Our job is happy. So we need to, you know, we're like a fireman. Theirs is fire.
Yeah.
Ours is happy. So we did another show. But as people were going out nice and orderly, I mean, even the dishwashers were over there, you know, in the corner like, man, this black woman, beautiful, looks me right in the eyes. She says, "Isn't this beautiful?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Of all the things that God could have used to walk her up to heaven, he used your show. It could have been cancer, car accident, shot, whatever." And I was like, that's now I know what Elton John's talking about. Philadelphia freedom, bro.
Yeah. That's wild to think about that.
Yeah.
And it also, I'm sure it gives you an extra appreciation because it's inherently you want to, as a comedian or someone does anything with the music, you want to connect.
Yeah. And
you
comedy's
did.
all the ways around because I was still feeling like, oh man, how could that happen to me? You know, what's going on?
Now I've got this.
No, I saw Smokey Robinson on the plane.
Yeah.
You know, comedy follows me to love me. You know what I mean? And I go to him and I go, "Hey, man, Smokey, has this ever happened to you?" And I told him what happened. He said, "Nah, man, it's never happened to me, man." He said, "But invite all your enemies to your next show because you killing them, baby."
Shut up. That's great.
I have to bring this up too because you had last night the Golden Globes. There was a couple of Will Smith references. You had your own Will Smith encounter. Explain what went down.
I'm almost something like Chris.
Yeah.
But it never happened, you know, and I'm glad it didn't. And I was really happy about what happened.
Right.
For two reasons. One, I didn't have to feel guilty about what happened with me because he's such a great guy. Last thing I wanted to say was, "Hey, man, me and him almost got in a fight."
Right.
So that was a secret of mine. You know, and when that happened, I was happy that I was lifted off of that. You know, that it's not just me.
You didn't have the exact same experience. You had a tense thing, but that didn't manifest in a full thing.
Yeah, it'd have been a mutual smack or punch or something.
Right.
You know, yeah, it was going to that, and luckily Jada was there. You know, she was, "Hey guys," and I was like, "No, you tell him." You know, and
you were in I believe you were in a movie.
With her,
and you kissed her in the movie.
I didn't find out what it was about until 18, 19 years later.
Wow.
What? I didn't even know why he did
you find
that.
out from him?
Yeah, I did. Because in the book, I wrote it.
Yeah.
And then my author was like, you can't put this in here because you got to get the rights done for them.
Right.
So this was bothering me. I didn't know if that was the reason. You know, I did want to put it in the book. You know, and so I sent it to him.
Yeah.
And him and Jada wrote me an email back and said, it did really happen, man. Put it.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was kind of fuming.
I mean, he's just, you know, kind of human.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the second reason why I was happy.
Okay.
Because whatever that is, that fueled that energy that he came at me or Chris with, he's got an opportunity to deal with it.
Right.
In one life.
And you
know, how many of us have that opportunity to not only have success, you know, but then to have some internal success about growing.
We were just talking about that, about how you process, how you deal with those things that set you off, or those things that you and you talk about it. It's a large part of your existence is bettering yourself. How do I become the best version of myself? And so you want to always hope that people have that, they can reclaim their better selves.
Yeah, and that, I mean, you know, and that it was great to see.
Yeah.
You know, I've been through my down the toilets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And through the love of people around me, you know, and a good universe, you know, pull through it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's you know, we're in this place. We're in this place where we got reward systems and this, that, and the other thing, the things we reach for.
Did you have to learn that? It sounds like with your mother on your side early on, it sounds like you were getting a really good instruction on how to approach life. Or did you have weaker moments where you had become less than what you wanted to be?
Yeah, I went to Earth University with everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I got a degree.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it, you know, there was times that was a problem. You know, with them being white and me being black and stuff that we went through, and you know, it's just the road.
Yeah.
You know, it's the road we're on.
Tommy, what was it like achieving the success of In Living Color? Because, you know, that I'm always curious as to how fame and fortune affect individuals. And you've had an interesting life. And that In Living Color blew up. You know, it was huge for a stretch. And so I'm curious as to how it affected you.
You know what? For one, the main thing is that I just got touched by a freaking angel.
Yeah.
You know, to have that show in my life.
And did you know that at the time?
We knew.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to be touched by something because we were all the best at the time. So when we walked in the door and looked at each other, we said, we're doing a show together?
Yeah, think of that cast.
Yeah. Oh, it's like the X-Men meeting for the first time. You know, what? So, you know what I mean? So it was that thing, you know, and then, you know, come the changes of success.
Right.
You know, we were like family. You know, we go to lunch every day, dinner every day. You know, and we didn't know anything about fame. I didn't think we couldn't have, because when it came, it was just like a freaking. Did you see the Blob?
Yes, sure, both of them.
Yeah, it's just no getting away from it. It comes from an event.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to, you know, you can't shoot it. I mean, it's like, you know, it's nothing. You can't shoot it. You can't burn it.
Cold.
And it's coming at you nice and slow.
Yeah.
You know, I'm taking my time. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that thing, you know, and so, you know, that's a surviving thing. That's the thing to survive.
You met you met Keenan at a party, or he'd come to see you. Saw you happened to be on set of a show you were on.
He saw me plenty of times when I was coming up.
Okay.
At the clubs.
We had him in the studio on his birthday a few years ago.
Okay,
It was
a surprise.
awesome.
Oh, he's something else.
Awesome.
Man. He's something else. And you know, it was just he knew who was. He's the doctor. He's the Dr. Xavier.
Yeah.
Of the whole thing.
He's Professor X?
He knew who the mutants were.
Yeah.
He just took us to the danger room. We got it all together and said, okay, now go get them.
Yeah.
We got too dangerous.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
We got too dangerous. He would come. He said, you guys can do whatever you want. And then if you have something, we can always do another take. And blah, 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 blah. Boy, by the end of that season, it was like, he would come in the room and go, hey, look, man, look at me, you guys. We're going to get canceled, man. You cannot. You know, we're laughing.
That's what always happens, though.
We're laughing.
Yeah.
How long was the run?
5 years.
5 years. It's
seems like longer, right?
It was in my wheelhouse. It was one of those things that I never missed it every single week. And
Casey, it was the must quote, must Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And having this job,
Radio was what made us.
Yeah. Having this job has allowed me to meet a lot of the stars of that show. So having you here, on multiple occasions is a huge honor for me. We've had David Allen Greer sit in that seat. Like you said, Keenan, Sean, Marlon Wayans. We haven't had Jim Carrey in here yet.
Okay.
But
He's here.
What's that? Is he here?
Yeah.
Surprise!
He's on the roof crying. What are you crying about?
He's been a little emotional.
He's on the roof crying right now. No, that's we were friends before in Living Color.
Yeah.
Yeah, our daughters are the same age. We were comic at the Comedy Store, so we do birthday parties and stuff like that. Now they're 35.
Yeah,
that's crazy. We knew each other back then, and then once the show came along, so we have a through line. That came before it.
He and Damon Wayans are two that I would love to meet.
Yeah.
Love to meet those guys.
Yeah, I just we all just got really lucky.
Yeah.
You
didn't.
Like we can be.
Luck plus talent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
you got to have both of them.
Yeah, you got to have both of them. But the thing is that I always try to give this advice. Never, what you see is always realize that there are people that can do exactly that, and there's a whole tremendous amount of people out there with extraordinary talent that you'll never know about because the break didn't happen for them.
Right.
Yeah, except now you have not seen the Barbie movie yet. I do want to see that because I've heard it's good. I mean, the numbers are thumbs up. Marissa's given double thumbs up. You enjoyed the movie, Marissa? May as well ask you real quick.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Okay.
It was really, really cute. I almost don't want to say too much about it because I personally loved not knowing much about it, but we're starting to see memes and everything like that. But the little things, like the little memes of characters and events don't change it much. But the overall, it's really cute. It's really empowering. Everybody should go see it.
I know that it touches on, and Steve, you're saying the Kate McKinnon characters drawn on, and so that kind of represents the way that some of the people playing with the Barbies, how they would treat them.
Right. So in the real world, as the doll owner is doing things with the doll, it's reflected in what's going on in Barbie world. So the owner of that particular Barbie is effing around with it.
And it got me to thinking about me playing with toys when I was a kid because we had action figures and things like that, and how and it would depend though on what toy it was, but I remember, beating up on the doll toys and stuff.
Part of the deal, yes. Yeah. You would do experiments. You would do effing as depicted in the original Toy Story.
Yes.
The kid, what's that little prick's name?
Scud? No, the dog was Scud. What was the guy's name next door?
But he all those
evil
hybrid things that he jerry-rigged together.
Yeah,
I did that. I don't know if you did it as well, but like your doll, your GI Joes or whatever. Absolutely.
I would, you know what else I used to do too is, and I had a fire thing when I was a kid.
Yeah, we all do.
But I would build model ships and planes and things like that.
Set them on fire.
On
the water, too, if you could. Yeah.
You take like a battleship or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And after I'd had it for a while and enjoyed and admired my creation, and I would set it on fire and watch it go down the creek.
Did you have anything like, did you buy like an Easy Bake, or did you have like an Easy Bake oven?
We had a really, really early edition of the Easy Bake oven. Now, I never put like army men or anything in there because I would get in tons of trouble.
We had a Creeple People. It was called Creeple People, and it was like
I remember Creeple.
Right, and it was super hot.
Yeah,
and I would take those. The GI Joe, not the little action army guys, the ones as in Toy Story,
the green ones,
and melt those. Okay, it was pretty wild.
Sid was the name of the kid.
Sid,
that's it.
Okay. And the dog was Scud. Okay. I was trying to think of the other. I remember. You know what I always wanted to do, and I couldn't bring myself to do it, was to cut open a Stretch Armstrong.
I knew it.
And see what was in there.
Yes.
What
made a Stretch Armstrong so stretchy?
Because there's some kind of. There's a liquid thing in there inside of that, and
I thought everybody at some point cut theirs open.
But that was kind of expensive.
They were expensive.
They weren't like you couldn't, and that was a must-have toy.
Oh God,
Stretch Armstrong for sure.
I would never cut my Barbie's hair.
Okay.
Ever. Like
Yeah.
that was
You
like
never
I
once
knew,
did it.
No, I knew people that like they did, and they'd have like a Barbie. Well, I didn't like her that much, so I wanted to trim her hair. No, all my Barbies had long hair and forever.
Did you ever get the Barbie where you could pull the hair out? And
Yeah, that I feel like when they got into that, it
was
wasn't.
too- it was not real.
I wasn't as into that. I liked the traditional Barbie.
We are now watching a YouTube video of someone cutting open a Stretch Armstrong. And I mean doing a full autopsy, evisceration right
down the nuts.
the middle, and cutting it in half, and there's some kind of a gel
It's a
inside
gel.
there.
It's a gel.
Wow. I'm fascinated by that now.
Do you remember when?
Oh my goodness.
Super Balls came out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, super
Yeah.
bouncy. The first one was literally like a black, and you could bounce it, and you'd go, 7 stories. It was amazing. Everyone wanted to find out what was in that. That made
cut
it
that thing
yeah,
open.
right? Yeah.
The larger ones that they made. Oh my
That
God,
was the first.
would they bounce?
Those were the first ones.
Oh, really?
Those were the first ones. Large, almost the size of a hardball, Preston.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I said, we should play baseball with them. Because imagine. And we did. And I hit a home run and never found the ball.
But think of like a lacrosse ball,
Right.
but even more.
Do you guys remember that?
bouncy than those things.
Do you guys remember because the more popular were the smaller
ones.
Yes.
one, multicolored. The large original one was, Preston, you're right. Very little effort. You could bounce that over a house.
Steve, there was a bit of scandal because ball players in the bigs would use super balls to cork their bat.
Really?
So, yeah, one of the things that occasionally when somebody would cork their bat,
Interesting.
they would do it with super balls in part because you could crush the hell out of the ball after.
Sure.
Okay, so what do you do to cork a bat? You hollow it out?
You hollow it out, yeah, and you put in some type of super bouncy material on the inside. And I guess I haven't heard of a corked bat incident in Major League Baseball in a long time. So they've figured out ways to crack down on it. They find all sorts of other ways to cheat.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard a corked bat story in a while.
I remember a couple of times as a kid, I destroyed a couple of toys, and then when I got done, I was like, "Why did I just do that?" And
You're curious.
One in particular was my mom had bought me, of all things, a toy drum set. And this is pre-K, by the way, and I loved it. Like I fell in drums.
Yeah.
I fell in love with drums from the start. But for whatever reason, one day, and they just had like paper drum heads, like this firm paper.
Yeah, I remember that.
It wasn't top level.
I'm like, I want to get inside the bass drum. So I ripped it open and got inside there. And my mom was like, why did you just do that? I don't know.
Why didn't you set it on fire?
Yeah. I don't know
That's
why
your
I did
thing.
that.
I feel like, listen, I don't know what you guys were doing, but some kids want to see how it works. You know what I mean? Like, even like the Stretch Armstrong, to go to that, like, how is this happening? How is this working? And at some point, they're like, you know what? I'll forfeit my toy to figure out how it works.
I'll tell you one that was a joy and could be used multiple ways. So there were the Hot Wheels tracks.
Yeah.
And then there was, they called it the Powerhouse. Or the,
Oh, yeah.
where it would
Yeah,
go.
it had 2 spinning wheels on either side, and it would shoot through there and then
Right.
take
so
it off.
what
yeah.
you could do is you would have a whole bunch of Hot Wheels cars, and you would use that thing like a gun,
Fire them out.
firing cars at people. But yeah, I wanted to see how that worked. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Kathy. There's a lot of it that is involved with. There was a character, kind of G.I. Joe-ish, called Major Matt Mason, and how does it bend? I don't see any joints. And it was basically glorified pipe cleaners sealed in rubber.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Are all boys at a certain age, do they go through the pyromania phase? Because I know I did.
I did. Yeah. Mine was.
I guess so.
I was less the fire and more the explosion.
Oh, like fireworks style?
Yeah.
My friend Justin, Steve, would, Kathy, to your point, he would break apart fireworks because he liked seeing how they would work. And then he would
reassemble,
and put
what could go wrong?
Put the gunpowder occasionally, like in glass, in glass containers. And he was.
We had mini Oppenheimer growing up. Preston, I remember clearly a mason jar. We put an M80 in it. We had a little bunker thing on the side, and we've taken every precaution. We're all safe. The thing goes up, boom! I hear my friend go, "Ow!"
No.
And a shard of glass had hit his thumb.
Yeah, we used to play around with gasoline and gunpowder. My dad,
Gunpowder?
we would reload our own shotgun shells, so we had a reloader, and so we had bags of gunpowder laying around and shot as well. No, actually, the shot were in the bags, and the gunpowder was in a tin container of types. But yeah, man, we would lay some of that out, and that stuff, you put a flame to it, it's like it's gone immediately, and it's amazing we still have digits. It's unbelievable.
There's 1,000 different ways we should be dead.
But gasoline, we would take. I remember almost like a squirt bottle type thing. We'd fill that up with gas and light a fire somewhere. And it's just insane.
I told you what I did.
Stupid. I think part of the reason maybe we see less of that now is because this was like pre-fire pits when people could buy like a cheap fire pit and have it home and burn things and kind of get your fix that way. I don't know.
I told you the story how I pan-fried BBs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Into the BB gun. You had to go quick.
And shoot your army men.
Shoot them at my G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
How old?
12.
Okay.
11.
Yeah, my nephew Tommy is 8, and he is going through a very intense pyromania phase right now. And we went camping a few weeks ago, and I pulled up this picture, Preston, because his little sister has a Barbie doll.
Oh, my God.
And every 12 minutes, hey, can we set the Barbie doll on fire?
Oh, my God.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So Nick's got this over one of those campground grills, which essentially is just a grill set over a fire ring, and sitting on top of the grill is a naked blonde Barbie ready for sacrifice.
Yeah, Tommy put her on there.
That's disturbing.
Yeah.
But I would have done the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, at what point are these warning signs or somebody just kind of being like you were?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
hard
gosh.
to tell.
We have not gotten to the pyro phase. Maybe we skipped it. I don't know.
I hope
No,
so.
not yet. Okay.
It's coming.
Hang on, I'm gonna go to Doug here real quick. Doug did something one time. Hey, Doug. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Gadzooks.
Gadzooks, dude. What's up?
I don't know. It was probably around 10 or 11. I guess I played sick and didn't want to go to church, so my parents were at church, and my dad had a train layout on a piece of 4x8 plywood down the basement. And the track was on cork, which made it even more smelly, because I took some shotgun shells, dumped the powder out along the tracks.
Oh, my God.
Ran a train through it, and then set it on fire, and then kept running the train. It was starting to melt.
Oh my gosh.
So the train was on fire as it's running around on a track?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Started to catch fire.
That-
And, the
That's
whole-
right out of the Addams Family, the TV. Remember, he used to have
crash the
yeah,
trains.
yeah, he'd blow up the bridge.
The whole 4x8 track is on fire, and I'm down the basement with one window in it. So
How old were you, Doug?
Like 10 or 11.
Old enough to know better.
Oh, well, it was fun.
Exactly.
So I finally put it out, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, well,
I knew it was coming.
Really
Yeah,
went
we
there.
can't say that,
Yeah.
bud.
It's filled with thick smoke. So
Yeah,
I found a fan, put it in the window, and I still got my ass chewed out.
of course you did. All right, thank you, Doug. Appreciate that.
I
Well,
blew the smoke away.
yeah, come on, man.
Don't I get any points?
Yeah, but then as toys did get a little bit more expensive as I got a little bit older. I mean, not that I wouldn't.
I set my Nintendo on fire. Yeah, you're not going to do that.
I would play them to death,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't
Destroy,
purposely destroy them and rip things apart.
Well, the classics were the was also switching dolls' heads.
Yeah.
was quite common. There was a Wild West series. These made the GI Joes look like nothing. The intricate joint stuff and so on and so forth. And but his head swapped perfectly with like 9 other figures, and so it was like the Great Imposter.
For whatever reason, I don't know what it was, and he still doesn't even know. But when Jace was little, he would take all the Legos hands off. So all of his little Lego figurines had no hands.
No hands.
And we had like a little bowl of like all these hands. Because I was like, I'm not throwing them out because then he's going to freak out and want the hands. No, he never wanted the hands.
What was that about?
Everyone had no hands. I don't know.
Wow. It's weird. There's got to be some kind of a psychological peek into our mind
Right?
of what we do with our toys.
Yeah.
You know, growing up. And the Barbie movie touches on that, obviously, of the way kids will play with them mercilessly.
I did love with this Barbie movie and everybody, going crazy over it. There was a lot of posts like, what was your favorite Barbie? What was the favorite Barbie accessory? And like just seeing all of this stuff from my childhood, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
So on Collector's Corner, which I watch on MeTV, they had a Barbie expert, and they were talking all things Barbie. And there were apparently the classic breakdown of Barbie collectors is there's some nostalgia, but for many they collect purely based on fashion. Like in other words, because I didn't realize like virtually every designer in the world had Christian Dior and all these.
Really?
Yes, had a Barbie, and then there's a Tippi Hedren Barbie from the Birds. Like
what?
There's
From the Birds
there are
movie?
multitudes of Barbies that I had and so there are subsects of collectors. This one woman they focused in on was all about the fashion. Like and the actual fashion houses would oversee the creation of the Barbie fashion.
Some of their fashion, the clothing that they had, like I mean, it was awesome. I was not a collector. I was a player. Like I got them. I didn't care about the boxes. I opened them. I played with them. I set them up. I had whole scenes everywhere. But yeah, the people that collect them and still have them, like I have a girlfriend who has all of her Barbies in the original box.
Wow.
So with the fashion houses designing some outfits for the Barbie, were they ridiculously priced, or were they weren't manufacturing?
I didn't get the impression
just
they were.
Influence them.
Those are the ones that accrued in value, though. But like the woman who she had a Barbie, a Christian Dior Barbie in an outfit, and they showed the actual full adult human outfit that it correlated to. So that was the attraction.
We were a big Barbie household, and this movie definitely inspired me, or made me realize why. Like what Barbie did to my mom and her generation, she was passing on to me, and I didn't really realize until last week when I saw the movie. But the fashion ones were a little more expensive, but they were still obtainable. But Kathy, you're going to love, at the end of the movie, they show all of the like canceled and retired Barbie dolls and the Ken dolls and like little stories behind it. They're all incorporated into the movie, like really funny ones.
That's cool.
There was a pregnant one at one point, right?
Midge.
Yeah.
Midge is in there, and Midge, the pregnant Barbie, or like her little sister, is in there.
Michael Cera plays who? Which character?
His name is Alan.
So now Alan has become a highly sought after collectible.
Literally, Alan's box says Ken's buddy fits in all of Ken's clothes, and that was his tagline. And he lived for like 1 year.
I still have my Barbies. Like they're in the same bin as the Beanie Babies.
Really?
And I kept them with like my favorite outfits. And when my parents moved out of my childhood home, the bin was there. And my mom was like, "Here's your Barbies and your Beanie Babies."
Why, with the movie opening, why have you not brought them in here?
Why did I know. Because I feel like I got on this, like it started to come out, like people were, chatting about it and started to like kind of spiral. And then we were on vacation. We were all and so I know exactly where the bin is. And I would love to pull it down and see what Barbies I have in there. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
How many? So were you a G.I. Joe collect guy?
Yeah, a couple of G.I. Joes. I more fell into like the Star Wars stuff when that came along. That was my age in Battlestar Galactica.
So I was G.I. Joes, and I had the original G.I. Joes, which were much bigger. In fact, they had their own Foot Locker, and they had the outfits were much more elaborate and medals and so on and so forth. And then they shrunk them down. But I remember probably my most prized G.I. Joe configuration, Preston, was the Mercury astronaut G.I. Joe with the capsule and the spacesuit and everything. It was amazing.
I was Evel Knievel.
Evel Knievel was
all
awesome.
the Evel Knievel stuff. And there were full-size action figures of Evel, and you could break all his bones.
Do you know how many? There are a load of YouTube and TikTok channels devoted to the Evel Knievel jumping, the one that had the ripcord, where you'd pull it out, and then Evel Knievel on the motorcycle would jump. And there are loads of videos of people just jumping things.
Yeah, Evel Knievel was wasn't it the last Toy Story? Where he
Boom.
He's got to jump over something at the end.
You know who plays him, Kathy? Keanu Reeves, who you said you didn't like earlier in the show.
I don't.
I can't take that. John Wick.
Steve, though, my brother Christopher, he had the smaller G.I. Joes, but I believe he still has all of his G.I. Joes, too.
Yeah, so Steve, the Evel Knievel actually had a crank that you would turn. That sort of thing. And you would get it revved up, and you would hit this button and it would release it.
I forget which one I was thinking of, though, but it had sort of like a
wheel in the
teeth.
center. Yeah. Yeah, there were cars that were that way.
Right.
And I used to do those. I had those as well. But Evel Knievel was, that was pretty badass, man.
Help him jump Snake River Canyon.
In the commercials, they would make them look so no.
Oh, yeah.
There were
packed
stadiums with like little cardboard cutouts and water features, and it wasn't your living room.
Super slow motion, landing on ramps.
I don't think I understood video editing when I was a kid. Hey, how come this doesn't happen when I bring the toy home?
Yeah. A few calls I want to go to. We're going to go back to the fire thing first, and then we'll come around back to Barbies here in a second. I have Dan on the line. Hey, Dan, good morning. Dan, you are on the air, sir. All right, we lost him. Too bad he poured gasoline down his chimney of a fort he built. Let me go next to, here we go, Steve D. Yo, Steve, good morning.
Hey, good morning, you bitch.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning to see you, bitch.
All right, so my two daughters never like to clean their room, so Daddy's always the one that has to go clean their room, and it's happened a few times. But anyway, so as I'm cleaning their room, I would end up just getting freaked out with Barbie doll heads just staring at me.
Wow!
So they pull the heads off the dolls?
Yeah, just pull the heads off the dolls, and then they're laying on the floor, and here I am cleaning them, and I'm like, ah!
I'm more freaked out by the headless body than I am the head. The head.
So that was Wednesday Addams. She had all her dolls had no heads.
Yeah, that's right. You know what you should do? You should make a necklace out of all those heads.
Yes,
the whole bunch of Barbie heads. That's actually a pretty good idea. Wow.
Here, honey, here's a necklace of all the heads you left over.
Yeah. Oh, my God, that's funny. Thank you, Steve. I will go next to Lindsay. Wrong line here. Let me get that up. Hi, Lindsay, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning to see you guys.
Good to see you. Good morning to see you. What's up?
Good to see you.
I can't remember.
So my aunt worked for Mattel for years, and she has told stories about going to China and, changing the boobs from cone to, normal looking. But she used to send me every year the exclusive holiday Barbie. Yeah, so I have a couple of them at my parents' attic. I don't know why I didn't take them when I moved, but they are still there. I don't know if they're worth anything, but I'm sure when it's time to clean out the attic, we're going to look at these and go, I don't know what to do with them.
Well, there is obviously a robust collectors community, and as they say, it's worth whatever someone will pay for it. But I mean, you probably have some extraordinarily hard to find collectibles, so I would get those appraised.
I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. Like I said, I haven't seen them. We'd open them. We'd say, oh, this is from Aunt so-and-so. We'd look at it, and then my mom would take it and put it away because, we were little girls. And I just remember the Rubbermaid container of Barbie dolls that lived in my room. You'd dump it out because you'd have to set them up. Kathy, I think you said you'd set them up before you played with them. Setting up would take 3 to 4 hours, and then you'd go play, and you're like, I'm tired.
Yeah, you'd play for 5 minutes.
It was a whole process.
Pairing the shoes with the outfit, and then, if you had the Barbie dream house or I had the RV, you'd set up dinner in the RV so that they could have dinner, and then
brush their hair, make sure they looked okay.
It's funny how different. For G.I. Joe, one of the big things I remember was the parachute, the G.I. Joe parachute.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that was a blast. So things you could do with G.I. Joe as more than his outfit, But very cool.
But I did want to mention, if there's anybody who has an American Girl doll and they destroyed their hair at all, you took it out of whatever thing it was supposed to be when it originally came out of the box. They have a doll hospital in their stores, and you can take it there and they'll fix it for you and they'll clean it all up for you, and then you get basically, I don't know if they could just replace the doll, but they basically will send they'll clean it up for you.
Sure, and it's expensive as hell. That's what I've heard.
I mean, there's some of those. I have one of the original historical American Girl dolls that are no longer in existence that I could also probably sell, but it's one of those things, do I really want to? Because this was my childhood.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
That's a whole other, the American Doll stuff is a wholly other.
Thanks, Lindsay. Yeah, my sister has a bunch of Barbies that are still in the packaging and all that stuff like Lindsay's was. And I don't know.
Couldn't do that.
Whatever is going to be done with that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. She should sell them. I mean, what are you gonna do with them?
It's like 40-year-old virgin when you get hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of collectibles because he has them in the original boxes.
Yeah. Let me go to Dennis. Hey, Dennis. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, Dennis?
Hey, I just want to say, Steve, I believe, is right. I think there was the ripcord, kind of pull cord on the rocket.
Oh, the rocket for Snake River Canyon.
No,
the one that,
actually,
you don't think?
no.
I thought it was.
Well,
I'm old and I did a lot of extracurricular activities, so I don't have much of a brain.
No, Dennis, I'm looking at a picture right now. The Sky Cycle actually had the crank, but
okay, I thought it did
because the motorcycle came before that. But what did have the pull cord, and Nick just pulled this up. They were called the Kenner SSP Racers.
Oh, the SSP Racers.
That's what it
I
was.
thought the rocket ship was like kind of designed after that. Like
No. But I mean, similar probably in that it has a rotating wheel like that, but it used a crank. But dude, I used to love those things.
They were great.
So much fun, and would destroy them. That was it.
Yeah.
And then you just destroy them. That was part of the whole thing. So. But yeah, breaking toys, man. It's kind of what
it's what you do.
It's what you end up doing with your stuff.
You play with the box, you play with the toys, you break the box, you break the toys.
Marissa?
Hey, Kathy, can we have a Barbie date next week?
Yeah, we could go through our Barbies.
Do you want to bring them all in?
Yeah,
Bring them in.
I would love to see. I want to pull that bin down and see.
All right.
Set up a scene.
There.
Set up a diorama with
Let's
everything.
play.
Yeah.
Do you want me to bring the horse farm or the 57 Chevy?
God, see, I didn't keep the big things like that. You kept that.
What was Barbie's horse?
That's awesome.
I don't know.
You're going to find out next week.
Okay. My sister had the airplane. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
That thing was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Folded up.
How does she afford all this stuff? Barbie.
Barbie?
Yeah.
That's
She had a Corvette, an airplane.
Yeah. A dream house.
Dream house.
Only fans.
You have to see the movie. It's all explained
Is it
in the
really?
movie.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
Nice.
all of this.
Okay.
All right, good. They cover it all. All right,
Nice.
well, thank you. Listen, I want to take a break because we have some B-File stories to get to, and we also have a couple of guests who are going to be joining us before we wrap for the day, so we will return with all that. And keep in mind, we also have a secret text word today, your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Sebastian Maniscalco Friday, November 17th at the Borgata. So text the word secret to 39333. Those tickets are on sale now. You can visit the Borgata.com for all the details and to purchase tickets. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve.
93.3 WMMR.
I'm somebody who can be eating a pickle on the porch couch
Yeah.
in Buffalo can critique my album. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, you know what I mean? So I don't know if I want to subject myself. You know what I mean?
You got to impress the pickle guy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Never get a picture of the person that made the comment. You know what I mean? I don't think Tommy Davison's album is, and you look and he's over a paint bucket. You know what I mean? He's got a living room couch from the 70s on his porch. Right. With kittens. You know what I mean? It's February. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? So
it sounds very specific.
Yeah, it's very specific.
Who knew he was a jazz fan?
Yeah, it's very specific. I got that from when what was it, Amazon?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Went to do my book.
Yeah.
And so they had comments. And this is when I discovered that comments in social media is like the bathroom stall. Anybody can say something, everybody gets to read it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're not going to go in the bathroom stall and go, let me write this number down. Yeah. Let me quote that. You know what I mean? So all these comments were there, right? I love the book. This is great. Some of the stuff bothered me, but all in all, this, that, and then there was one comment that said, I really liked Tommy Davidson until I read the book.
Huh.
And I'm like, Amazon, why'd you have to put that? Like the owner can go to the moon. Yeah. The owner can go to the moon on his own money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why can't you leave out one bad thing that someone would say about it? That bad. I mean, there's no redeeming quality in none of that. That's just like I used to like him.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And now I don't like him because of the book. So it's like saying, I don't like him because of who he is.
Yeah. Right.
I found out who he is in the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But we talk about the joke, and it's the classic joke is you get 200 great reviews, and that one that stinks.
Yeah.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
But I know the real thing.
No, you know.
The real thing is, that person got loved.
Yeah.
And don't know what it's like. But at least they got loved.
Yeah.
Because they got loved in one way or the other. Because they had to say it. They had to say it. So they read it.
Yeah.
I got a text on one of the past, as long as we do have to wrap up, unfortunately. But this person says,
"Doggone it!"
It says, Tommy's story is amazing. Thank him for being a beautiful human being, especially for what he went through.
Yeah.
So there's some great comments.
I will say that I used to like Tommy before this interview. Now I love him.
Yeah,
Now you love him.
Now I love him.
Thank you.
Looking out on my lonely room, day after.
Is that Badfinger?
Yeah.
Great song.
I'm going to get your book.
What was it? Who was that?
That's yes. Roundabout.
Now, you gonna change your ways.
Now I remember the last
Sammy
time.
Davis.
Now I remember the last
That was
time.
Sammy Davis Jr. doing yes.
I remember the last time we had you, and you immediately just launched into Philadelphia Freedom, just like that. Before I even asked you one question.
Yeah, but I got a new Sammy verse. I got my eye, it's out. You know what?
Wow.
I love it.
World Cafe live tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Now I got a new one.
Funny music with Tommy Davidson and Marcus Mitchell on sax. I wanted to mention him because you're talking about radio. So
come out and have some fun.
Listen,
I'll be there.
It's wonderful to see you. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you,
today.
man. You guys are still here. Like radio still exists.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
There you go. It's for you.
You know what I mean?
This is Roundabout, by the way. It's got a long intro.
It does.
I would have gotten to it, but we got to take a break. We got to finish
Shows tonight.
Thank you.
We know
so
what you
much.
mean.
Yeah.
WorldCafeLive.com to get tickets to see Tommy Davidson. We're going to take a break, right? It's our buddy Tom Papa calling him?
Yeah, we got cool.
So we'll come back.
We got cool.
We got
We got cool.
Casey. I've done something like that so many times that I can't bust your balls about it. We'll come back in a second with Tom Papa. We got cool. Stay there. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
This Saturday, the Keswick Theater is going to light up with the comedy stylings of our next guest. He's a friend of the show. We love having him on. He's one of my absolute favorite. Please give some love to Mr. Tom Papa. This morning. Yay. It's early. Hi, Tom. Nice to see you, sir. Tom's joining us via Zoom this morning. You look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Yeah, well, it's you have a Cracker Jack staff over there. Casey sent me a reminder that we have the interview today at 4:30 a.m.
It's better than nothing.
He knows I was sitting there waiting for confirmation in the middle of the night here in LA.
I imagine you sitting like in a big lounge chair with a little glass of scotch and just waiting, just anticipating the moment at which you get to talk to us.
Stroking my cat. When will they call?
Like Blofeld.
I talked to Tom 5 minutes ago in the other room, and I told him that I failed at my job, and then you brought it on air.
Well, see, this wouldn't be an issue if you were East Coast. But
I know. It makes me very angry. I was like, every time I come on, I'm like, well, next time when I come through, I'm coming in the studio for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And I've got to be in Nashville the night before, so it always blows it.
Well, the draw obviously was you love to surf, and that's why you ended up out there.
Yeah, I'm big into surfing. I love yoga. I'm doing the 1970s version of California.
Yeah, exactly. The endless
everybody
summer.
everybody else has moved on. I'm walking around with my chest hair out, gold chains just tangled in my spooky cobweb body hair.
It's funny you mentioned that because there's a commercial with Mark Spitz on now. It's for some sort of, colonoscopy in a box or something like that. But Mark Spitz was like that, exactly what you just the matted chest hair and the medallions.
There's a line in the song Macho Man from the classic Village People,
right?
Where he goes, "You see all this hair on my chest?" I'm like, wow, man, that was really that was it.
That's over now.
Thing. There was definitely
people were turned on by that, I guess.
So Tom, you're gonna be at the Keswick on Saturday, and I feel like you're almost exclusively when you come to this area, almost exclusively you play the Keswick Theater, and I'm not sure if that is your choice, management, or but I just I
it's
love
a great
that
theater.
It's a great theater.
So
It's
good.
a great little town and everything like that. So
town.
do you inform your booking manager where you want to play?
Yeah, it's kind of like a back and forth conversation, but I do love that place, and they kind of cultivated me coming up, and the real reason I wanted to go back, especially this time, was the Keswick was the last show I did before the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
That was, I remember I was in the lobby, I was signing books. At the end of my shows, I sign books and meet the people. And I was out there and people were like, "Should we shake hands? Is this okay?" And everybody was all kind of screwy. And then I got on the plane the next morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the plane and I'm like, wow, this is getting weird. I wonder if I'm going to be doing stand-up next week. And Paula Poundstone, the great comedian Paula Poundstone, comes onto the plane and she sees me and she just leans in and goes, "We're effed."
No, it's funny you say that because that's happening a lot. This Friday, I'm hosting a charity event for the Morse Animal Refuge here in Philadelphia. It was the last event that night. A big gala. I remember everyone had that same sort of, what's going on here? What's going on? Things were going on. I lost an iPad that night, so I remember, the whole thing. And this Friday, it's like the sense is we're picking up where we left off because it's the first event back of that nature, which is kind of it feels right.
Yeah, it does, and it feels like a milestone for sure. I'm a little concerned. I thought you said I lost my eye patch.
It turned out I realized I have a functional second eye. And why have I been wearing this?
People say the pandemic's bad, but I was able to use both eyes for the first time.
It's a joy.
Oh, man.
But the theater thing.
Yeah, but I'm really psyched for sure. And it's there's only some tickets left. There's not. I came on because I really want to sell the place out. I just want it to be like this triumphant kind of like return.
Well, you're a dear friend of the show, so we please help Tom realize his goal. And if honestly, you're so good at what you do, and I think over this period, which no one would want to say, "Hey, I hope we have a pandemic," but I think what you do, how you've done it, the way you've approached thematically your shows, I think it's meant a lot to people. So I'm sure you've got. People will need to seize upon this opportunity to see you live after all this time.
Thank you. It is funny that now that I've been out for a bit, and you do see all the people. When like I said, I sign books at the end of every show, and I get to see all these people that have been they travel. I used to just kind of skip out the back.
Right
now, you're actually sitting and signing books, and people come up and you forget, we traveled and we stayed in a hotel and we came from 6 hours, or we flew in from Toronto. And the thing I keep hearing is that my Netflix special, You're Doing Great, was like therapy for people during the pandemic. Because it was kind of upbeat. It was very optimistic. You're doing great. We're going to get through this. And even the book was You're Doing Great and Even Reasons to Stay Alive and Other Reasons to Stay Alive. And I was just writing it, but I didn't realize it was became like a self-help book, and a self-help special.
It's brilliant, and there's sometimes it's weird when you experience like a blowback from a desire to feel good and see the glasses half full. It's how we survive as a species. And Preston was just talking about, we had a segment about long despair and all of the people who are still who are just in the throes of dealing with all this stuff. That's the service you provide. It is a release. A comedy has always helped me throughout my life, whether I was watching Bugs Bunny cartoons or whatever, going through a bad time. It does heal, and so it's got to be very good for you to see those people smiling and reacting to you that way.
100%, and it's I named the tour the tour that I'm on, the Family Reunion Tour, and I really feel like it's the family that I want to be with when I'm on the road and see all of the people. I literally was saying the other night on stage, I was like, remember back in the pandemic when they said we couldn't hang out with our families? They said we actually couldn't see our families for like a year. Wow, those were the good old days.
I think we may have discussed this before, but if not, your stand-up is huge on TikTok right now. And so I'm wondering if that has ended up, as far as your audience is concerned, is your audience trending younger these days as a result?
It's interesting. There are younger people showing up, which is very cool. It's like, because their parents already know me, and now the young people know me. And also when I was doing the NPR show, when I was doing Live From Here, which was the Perry Home thing, that was another thing that like the whole family could listen to. So the coolest thing is when people come up and it's like the mom and the dad and like two 15-year-olds, and it's like, it's very cool. Casey, actually, you tipped me off on the TikTok trend that was happening for a while.
Yeah, you're talking about growing people, and
you'd see it constantly on the stream. You still do,
yeah. I had this line. I made my own people. Have you ever made your own?
Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, we'll begin with a Boston man who is going to face a dangerousness hearing on Tuesday after he was charged with attacking a 59-year-old woman who he accused of not saying good morning to him.
Beat her up?
Yeah, Ian Atkinson was charged Thursday, a week after he is accused of punching a woman.
Say good morning!
Officials said that before the attack, Atkinson cursed the woman out for not greeting him as she watered her lawn.
What's wrong with people?
Then, suddenly fearful because of the aggressive nature of Atkinson's remark, the woman started filming him with her cell phone before he began punching her. Home surveillance footage shows the woman was punched at least 7 times in the head before being taken to the hospital.
Whatever happened to common civility?
Where doctors determined that she had a fractured nose and hemorrhage to her left eye. After the attack, Atkinson entered a car that was parked nearby, put it in reverse, and swerved in the woman's direction before driving away. He was arrested a few days later.
But that'd happen if he said good morning to see you, right?
Yeah, good morning to see you. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department arrested a Chino Hills man for creating a fake fire department and posing as a firefighter. Deputies arrested 42-year-old.
I'm going to be an astronaut.
Andrew DeBoer. DeBoer allegedly went to great lengths to carry out his con. During a search of his home, investigators recovered a fire investigator identification card, badges, decals, and uniforms with patches for the Santa Muerte Fire Department, which is not real. They also found firearms, soft body armor, and a duty belt. While scouring through his home, deputies seized a Ford F-350 truck with California exempt license plate, emergency lights, and fire decals on the front hood and rear tailgate.
He even painted his cat to look like a Dalmatian.
The suspect seemed to have taken further steps to solidify his cover. If you Google Santa Muerte Fire Department, an operational website for the non-existent agency appears.
Wow, that's selling it.
Many of the links on the homepage redirect to legitimate agencies. However, the Contact Us page lists an address that belongs to a shopping center containing a UPS store and a hair salon. The fictitious fire department also has a LinkedIn page with a post featuring a photo that seems to be an altered picture of a U.S. Forest Service firefighter. Police learned that DeBoer, 9 days before his arrest, when a Chino Hills, or they learned of him, when a Chino Hills resident reported an odd encounter with a firefighter. A victim had called authorities after they were pulled over by a man posing as a law enforcement officer driving a white Ford truck with fire decals on it. During the traffic stop, DeBauer posed as an arson investigator, fully decked out with a duty belt and a firearm, Santa Muerte Fire Department badge, baton, pepper spray, and handcuffs. The 41-year-old man has been booked for false imprisonment and impersonating an officer.
It's a shame. He was just planning his first fireman's fair.
They believe that he may have victimized others as well. I have another fireman story in here. Let me see if I can find this real quick because that'll tie into that.
Fire truck!
Let's see. Hang on. I got to find this.
I love these.
No, man, I must have buried this kind of deep here. Okay. Well, never mind. I'll come back.
You want me to go through it?
No, it's okay. I'll get to it another time. What?
Buried it kind of deep here. Made me giggle.
Sorry.
Wow.
Come on, Kathy.
I mean,
You know, Kathy was 9 steps ahead of you on that.
Yeah. All right. How about this? This will bring you. This will bring.
I love
some
implied intercourse jokes.
here's another one.
This will bring you back down to reality. A newly engaged woman slipped and plunged to her death off a cliff in Turkey just moments after her husband-to-be popped the question.
Really?
Horrible. Yisim Demir and her new fiance, Nazmettin Gurzu, were about to celebrate the momentous occasion and with a sunset picnic when the 39-year-old plummeted over 100 foot off of the steep cliff. Nick, she went deep.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Did she go deep?
She went deep, yeah. The excited groom-to-be had just proposed and returned to the car to retrieve their celebratory food and drinks when he heard a blood-curdling scream. He rushed back to the scenic cliffside and discovered the fiancé had fallen over the edge. It's horrible.
Did you say yes or no?
The grieving man later told local media the pair had chosen the spot to be engaged because they thought it would be romantic.
Yes.
Demir initially survived the massive 100-foot fall.
How?
But later succumbed to her injuries. The guy had promptly called for help, but after 45 minutes of resuscitation efforts, medics declared his wife to be dead. That's horrible, man.
Did he get to consummate?
Shut up. A man who allegedly told police he decided after a day of drinking to take a vehicle from the Ferrari dealership in Salt Lake City and then hit 4 other cars while trying to leave.
I love that. Did he work for the fire department by any chance?
Michael Martinez was arrested Sunday night for investigation of 3 counts of property damage, theft, and burglary. Martinez broke into the Ferrari dealership by using a rock to break into the building's exterior glass.
That's low tech.
He then opened a car door and saw keys on the center console. Police said the car was worth about $600,000. He started the car and hit the interior glass, 4 other vehicles, and exterior doors on his way out with the vehicle. Police say the other vehicle sustained an estimated $100,000 in damage.
How many times have you had stories about going into a car dealership, the cars in the display room are drivable and have gas? There's got to be a way to render them undrivable. Why can you drive them?
I guess they generally don't think people are just going to get in and...
They don't listen to the bizarre file.
Yeah. All right, one last story, and it involves a car as well, a luxury car. The driver of a 2018 Lamborghini Aventador walked away with minor injuries after wedging their car underneath a tractor trailer.
Oh, man.
In a high-speed crash on Saturday. Spencer Hyde was traveling at a high rate of speed on I-75 in Georgia when he lost control of his Lamborghini and struck the back of an 18-wheeler in the right lane. And I mean, dude, it slid
Wedge right under?
all the way underneath it. Hyde's car was trapped underneath the rear of the trailer, causing the closure of 2 lanes on I-75. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
We'll be there in just a minute.
Yeah, make it less.
Excuse me?
My balls are on my forehead.
Oh, my God.
No other injuries aside from Hyde's balls on his forehead were reported. Photos of the Aventador from the scene show a smashed front end, but an intact safety cell.
I mean, that's as wedged as you can get.
Yep.
They have that bar on the back of trucks that are supposed to prohibit that, but I guess you're traveling at a sufficient rate of speed.
Yeah, and if your car rides low enough like that, you might have an issue. All right, and there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right, we have a couple of guests who are here, and they are speaking about an event that we like to mention every single year because it is an awesome event, and it is coming up. Oh, where's this go? There we go. This Sunday, the Philadelphia Centurions Motorcycle Club present the 27th annual Christmas in July motorcycle toy run benefiting Shriners Children's Hospital. And we welcome Brian Kane and Stephanie Byra.
Thank you, guys. Thank you
Thanks for having us in.
Nice to see you guys. So Brian is VP of the Centurions, and Stephanie is with Shriners Hospital. And this is the 27th run of this, Brian?
27th run, yes.
Man, oh man. How many years have you been doing it?
I've been with this club for about 8 years now, but before that I was with other clubs, and I've been participating in this for years, for at least 10 additional years on top of that.
It's so good. It's such a good thing to do.
And so the Centurions are a police-based motorcycle group, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But any and everybody is invited to be a part of this?
Oh, absolutely. Anybody with a motorcycle. We have people that come in with Jeeps, trucks, cars, whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, anybody can come in with their donations, their tour donations, or their monetary donations, and come in and hang out with us.
Okay. Do you ever get a Vespa or anything like that, or people that ride along with you?
Never had a Vespa yet.
Okay.
I won't count it out. I'm sure it'll happen. It's the thing now.
I wasn't sure. That might be kind of fun.
Where do you stand on they call them the spider bikes, the three wheels? Are they?
Yeah, we actually have a few members. We have one members with one of those, and the trikes, the three wheelers.
Right.
We have a few members with trikes too.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
Okay.
I see them all over the place now.
So this event is coming up on Sunday. What are some of the details? And then we'll talk about Shriners a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So us, the Centurions, we're the oldest law enforcement club in the country. We've been around since 1973. We just recently celebrated our 50th year. Awesome. And on Sunday, this is going to be, like you said, our 27th time with the toy run. So what we're going to do, we're going to be getting together. It's going to be at 9130 Academy Road at the Constadter's German Club. It's right off Academy Road of 95.
Yes.
Very easy to get to. Our registration is going to be 8 to 10:30. And what's great about this is you're going to actually get two meals. Okay, we're going to serve a full buffet breakfast during that time between 8 and 10:30.
Cool.
Kickstands will be up at 11 o'clock, where we're going to have Santa Claus lead us and all of our friends on our motorcycles down 95. Police escorted all the way down to Broad Street to Shriners. And we'll be greeted by a lot of the children and their family outside, where we drop off the donations and the gifts.
It's great.
And then there's a meal after that?
Yeah,
or-
so afterward at 12:30, everybody can come on back. And if you didn't do that ride, you can just go there at 12:30 at Constadter's. And we're going to have another party from 12:30 to 4:30. And we're going to have a barbecue lunch that's going to be served also with a band.
How many bikes, roughly?
There's usually anywhere from 500 to 600 bands.
Oh, my God.
500 to 600 bikes on average.
So do you get on the highway at any point in time?
Yeah, 95.
Okay, you get on 95. Do you need a police escort? Because obviously...
Yeah, we're fully police escorted.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because at some point, because you guys don't want to stay together as a group. And does the highway get shut down for just a moment?
Yeah, so we have help with the state troopers. They shut down 95 for us, so we're the only ones on that stretch from Academy to Allegheny. We get off at Allegheny.
Yeah,
It's
a lot
really
of a lot of people have done it and taken the ride. And I know Bill Weston has. I think Pierre rode, or maybe Jackie.
I've done it.
In case you've done it.
Yeah,
And
Jackie Van Band's with us a few times.
Yeah, it's just it's a cool thing to experience it.
A lot of people on the overpasses waving flags and everything. It's really a cool event.
Now, Shriners Hospital, we've talked to you guys many times, and it's just what an amazing organization, because you get free care essentially from Shriners Hospital.
So at Shriners, we take care of kids that have different orthopedic conditions, so broken bones, sometimes kids that have scoliosis, lots of kids that break bones. It's a busy summertime, that's for sure. We have kids that might have been born missing a limb, and we have families here in the Delaware Valley and throughout the whole country that will travel to see our physicians.
Wow. And the money comes from events like this.
Oh my gosh, they're at $60,000, and the event hasn't even happened on Sunday yet for this year. And so they're approaching $700,000 since 1996, which you all know all the work that everybody does. It's many people that come together and make this event great.
There seems to be all these facilities. Anybody who works in this line of work is obviously motivated by a wonderful thing. But there's something special about Shriners, the commitment, and you can see whenever people who work there are interviewed, or even the beneficiaries of the generosity, or at least the medical care. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, so we're super excited because Jose, one of our former patients, actually got his motorcycle license and is going to be riding on Sunday. And so it is my 17th Christmas in July. And so I remember when he was like a young kid, and now he's like 24 or something. And so he's going to participate this weekend. So that'll be really special.
Is so cool. I love it. If people want to use Shriners for help, they have a kid that needs some help, what do you do?
So we are located right next door to Temple Hospital, right on North Broad Street. Our website's shrinersphilly.org. They can call us, visit our website, come in for an appointment. We usually see new patients within about a week, which
is amazing.
It is when you're like, you need an orthopedist, and the wait can be extensive. And so we're happy to be your first opinion, second opinion, and so we're happy to see more kids.
Love it. Excellent. All right. So if people want to sign up and get this rolling, Brian, what do you recommend?
Yeah, so again, it's going to be 8 to 10:30 is our registration on Sunday morning. It's going to be $35 a bike, 60 for a couple. They can come, also bring an unwrap toy, and you're afforded everything throughout the day.
So is it show up and sign up, or can you do it ahead of time?
Yes, show up and sign up.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Excellent.
Make it simple.
Yeah, we'll post all the information online and make sure everybody is quite aware of it. And
we appreciate it.
It's a tradition, so you guys are doing great, and we wish you success on this event. As
Thank
always.
you so much.
Thank you so
got
much.
it anytime. Thank you for being here, Brian and Stephanie, this morning on the program. And yeah, go to PrestonandSteve.com. We've got it all right there. But to donate, you can also go. Sorry, Casey. You can go to lovetotherescue.org if you would like to do that as well. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. So, Kathy, we need number caller. Hi.
5.
Call number 5 for secret text word. If you know the secret text word, be call number 5, 215-263-WMMR. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
These moms started taking it and lip syncing it. And like showing their kids like doing like picking their nose or scratching their ass, and they're like, "Have you made your own people?" I have, and it became this trend. I was like, the joy of being able to tell my 16-year-old daughter that I was a trend on TikTok.
Top that.
Yeah. Tom,
she was so angry.
And we're all kind of students of comedy and fans of comedy, and I love, just like everybody else in the room, the Netflix special was therapeutic and funny. But when you watch something at home, you usually like kind of chuckle to yourself a little bit, maybe laugh if you're watching with somebody, but there's not like the double over laughter that you get at a live experience. And so I love going to clubs. I love going to like the Keswick and seeing comedy shows there. I've seen, I saw Saget there. I saw Mike Birbiglia. So I'm curious as to like when you perform live, getting that type of reaction versus getting the, hey, that made me laugh type of thing, like actually seeing people laugh. Do you know the difference that I'm trying to explain?
Yeah, no, it's a huge thing. I was talking about this the other day, that I feel like we need to have a return of comedies, film.
Yeah.
Like when we were kids, they were throwing so much comedy at us, like A comedies, B list, C list. They were just showing Ernest Goes to Camp and Revenge of the Nerds. I mean, they just kept throwing comedies at us, and a lot of them were terrible. But we all went to the movie theater and sat there and watched. And when there's this weird thing with human beings and this energy that connects us. And when you're in a theater and you hear someone else laugh, and then you laugh, and then it connects to the other person, and it's contagious.
It's communal. Yeah, it's great.
It really catches. When I do shows, I do like these corporate shows sometimes, where a company like Microsoft will hire me to go do their thing. And the thing that they always screw up, which I literally have in my contract, is no dance floor. Like you have to have people starting at the stage. They used to put like a big dance floor, and just that gap, between me and the audience. Like if you take 10 feet, you've killed it. You've killed the electricity chain.
Right.
So but if you have the people up to the stage, that laugh, my energy will connect to those people, which will spread through the theater.
Yeah. Hey, do you pick up on distinct laughers in the crowd? Because some people really stand out with their laugh. And if so, do you kind of target them if you can?
Yeah, well, I don't target them, but it's definitely conscious. And the thing that I have to do is remind myself that just accept it as a real laugh.
Okay.
Because when I was starting and I would hear someone like, the insecurity was they're fake laughing.
Right.
They're mocking me. And then I would attack them, and everyone in the audience is like, what are you doing that for? He likes the show the best. And I'm like, he's not real.
There are some people that have that ha 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 like cartoon, like it's written out ha ha ha,
like the
laughter.
Frankenstein monster has learned to laugh.
Exactly, but that's how they laugh. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I'll have to like say something just to get it off my chest. Like, something like I don't know. Thanks for bringing you the thanks for bringing your pet seal or whatever.
I wonder what percentage of your audience now too, because you've got. You've built obviously the podcast and your various shows and all the things you're involved with. Have you ever done sort of a casual breakdown of who's there and what they're there? What was their entree to getting into Tom Papa?
I know. I'm always so curious about it, but it's weird to just like stop in the middle of a comedy show and be like, okay, we're going to take a little survey now. Who here drove more than 2 hours? More than 2 hours? Where did you? Because it really is it is a mystery, and I kind of like that it is a mystery.
Right.
But there's times when I'll go play like a performing arts center, and I know these people are like parents, they've got families and stuff, and I know they're not on TikTok. I know they're not even on Twitter.
Right.
And I'm like, and I've been tweeting about my show all week. I'm like, how did you find out that I was here if you're not on Twitter?
Right.
You know what I mean? You guys don't use Instagram? Where did you come from? I don't know. I think it's just a combination of everything, I guess, over the years.
Well, it's almost like we've been digital, but we re-embrace some analog technology. We remember that, yes, the word used to get out, regardless of social media.
Yes.
And so that is something that is every bit as important. I mean, we here with terrestrial radio, which is still, the big mofo, it's still...
Yeah.
It still has something that connects in a very soundtrack of your life kind of way, and your podcast and your shows, they all have a regular radio feel to it. You don't want to get
it's that sense of community,
right?
It's that thing of like we belong to something. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants to know that we belong to something, and I think that's what's lost in some markets when they don't have really strong local radio. It's such a shame because you look forward to like, oh, the band is coming to our town.
Yeah.
Oh, we're celebrating this thing this week. We're getting together and looking for his eye patch.
Why was I even wearing that? But you're right. And then when a band would come to town and they were playing your city and they would mention the last town, I was like, oh, them. like an old girlfriend, because
boo.
Only boo. Do you remember a time when? I mean, I know we've mentioned the George Carlin picture behind you, and I know he's very important, to you. Do you remember a time as an audience member where you had that gasping, doubled over moment where you were responding to a comedian on stage?
You mean in the past? Like
for your entire life.
Yeah,
I'll give you a good broad time frame.
Comedy's such a funny thing that like you could just be watching a bunch of people, especially like on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Like I'll watch different people at different times, and you're just like you said, like, oh, that's funny, you just kind of chuckle. And I watched John Panette a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And remember John Panette?
Oh, yeah.
Man, he just hooked me. And I'm alone in my room, just literally, he got me. He and every line was making me laugh harder, and I was trying not to laugh so I could hear the next line. And I was like, oh man, this is such a beautiful thing. This guy just up there yelling about corn dogs. But I always tend to, I like stuff like Carlin, and I love like stuff that has a little meaning to it, but
right.
I also love, that was the thing I liked about Carlin, was that he also combined it with being very silly.
Yeah.
Like in Carnegie Hall, like he would be talking about something heavy and political, and all of a sudden he's pretending he's a crab walking across the stage.
That's great.
I'm always attracted to silly because I have a very low IQ.
Robert Klein was I remember seeing Robert Klein when I was in college, and that was it. What you just described. There was, he didn't dismiss that part of the audience that would respond well to that, as because I'm sure you design your act in a way to hit different group. You want to hit the largest group, but you also want to have people go, that was for me. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really plan it.
Yeah.
You just gotta kind of do what you think is funny.
Right.
You know, you just gotta do like if it makes you laugh, and then all of a sudden it hits with a couple people, and yeah, you can't really plan out like I want to try and get this group because, like you said, I don't even know who's out there.
Right.
I don't know who's in the audience. It could just be,
Shriners.
Yeah, or all stoners. I have no idea.
Do you still pop into the clubs in L.A. when you're working on material and stuff? And how often?
Yeah. I'm going to the Comedy Store tonight. That's where I've been going mostly, is Comedy Store in Largo.
I'm so jealous of New Yorkers and L.A. people because. You just go to a club on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, and it's like, oh, well, it's Tom Papa.
A marquee name.
All 10 marquee names in one night. That's just, to me, it's mind-blowing.
It is pretty. I know they always the Comedy Store always takes a picture of the lineup and posts it, and all the comments are like kids from Kansas, like, God, what's wrong with me? Why do I live here?
Well, we do have our
I wanna
moments.
be in LA.
You can go into a restaurant here on any given night and see Jervis from the first season of Survivor.
Yeah.
Ooh, no way. See, you really, it's bad enough I can't be in the studio with you. Now you got to throw that at me.
So I'm looking at some of the guests that you've had on your podcast, and I wanted to ask about because growing up, I watched short attention span theater, the half-hour comedy hour. I loved all of that stuff, and so you would see just snippets of all these comedians, and Judy Gold was one of them. Yeah. And is she known as the Holla Queen?
The Holla Queen?
Or is that just because it's on the Breaking Bread podcast?
Yeah. Oh, Holla. Yeah. Oh, man. I thought for
New one in there. It weighs a lot because there's so much toilet paper on that, and as you pull it, the weight of the toilet paper roll works against you, and
but this
it
is
breaks.
This is new. Like this didn't always happen, even when it was full. I think it's either
they've tightened the machines.
a combination of what you're saying, Preston, and maybe the new machine or different toilet paper. I don't know what it is, but
Do you do this? Do you stick your hand under and roll it manually?
Oh, like 100 times because
here's what I like. The new novelty door locks on the bathroom.
Oh, my God.
Bastards.
Kathy, on the men's room, when you go in, so we have to push a code to get into our bathroom. And
it's the same code in the whole building.
It is. And when you push it and the light turns green, okay, you actually have to wait just a little bit before you turn it.
Same.
And or it locks and you can't get in.
Correct.
And I personally think that they said it that way and they're filming us and that they're going to make a whole collage, a compilation of us getting pissed off at trying to get into the bathroom.
Well, here's third to add to the list. So the light sensor, the motion sensor that turns the lights on is right by the door. So as you walk in, say you're taking a dump that lasts more than 11 seconds. The lights go off, and you used to be able to wave your arm in the air or whatever just to turn the lights back on. You're in the dark until someone comes in through the door.
Well, at home, I have to turn the water off on my toilet every night before I go to bed because the toilet will run all night long. And it's like so frustrating because that little flappy thing that flaps down doesn't like flap properly.
You need to fix that. You need to get a new one.
So you turn the water off at every night?
Yeah.
It's pretty. That one is actually, as far as plumbing goes,
it's an easy fix.
That's pretty easy.
But I've already fixed it. Like this isn't like the first flappy thing that I've put on there. It's just so frustrating.
How many does it last? Does it?
It should last, but
it works for a little while and then stops.
Yeah,
that sucks. Blow the house up.
Yeah.
No, get a new house. All right. Well, we have our bathroom issues.
Yeah,
we made that clear. I'm sure everybody does, but we do need to get a winner for our secret text word. We were looking for caller number 5, and that is Jay. Hi, Jay. Morning.
So glappy to hear from you guys.
Oh my
so
God.
happy day.
He's wearing the glappy shirt.
I got a glappy shirt that a really nice listener made for me today.
Oh, that's awesome.
This shirt makes me super glappy.
Does it say if you're glappy and you know it, clap your hands?
I think it's shiny glappy people.
Shiny glappy people. Very good. Jay, let's make you glappy. What's the secret text word, please?
Lasagna.
You are correct. Hang on, Jay. We're going to give you tickets to see Sebastian Maniscalco Friday, November 17th, Borgata Event Center in Atlantic City. And we would also like to congratulate Chrissy Popper, who's from Northeast Philadelphia. And is it Popper? All right. Chrissy Popper. You know who you are, Chrissy. You're a winner. We're going to give you tickets as well. By the way, those are on sale now. Event runs November 9th through the 18th. You can visit theborgata.com for tickets and complete details. Today's lesson question. We're doing that next, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. The lesson question for today. And we are going to give away, as a prize, a pair of tickets to the Metallica 72 Seasons World Tour live broadcast, which is coming to movie theaters nationwide for 2 nights, only August 18th and the 20th. Question that I posed to you is this morning: which kitchen device does Sky Max stream? Not really, because if you have a TV in your kitchen, we would count. No.
Yes.
Which traditional kitchen device does Sky Max TV stream? If you heard it earlier on the show this morning around 7 o'clock, you need to call now, 215-263-WMMR, because we got the prize over here.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you by Sports and Social. Cheer on the Fightins, just steps away from the stadium at Sports and Social in Live Casino and Hotel Philly. Watch the game on a 52-foot big screen with Budweiser, cocktail specials, giveaways, memorabilia, and more. What's up, Steve?
Kim Kardashian was seen partying in Miami with her sister Khloe's ex, Tristan Thompson. Kim says everything is cool, noting that she was spending time with parts of Thompson's penis that Khloe never got to.
Hey!
Director Christopher Nolan's summer blockbuster Oppenheimer has been released around the world except for Japan. Japan is very sensitive to anything bomb-related and wouldn't even release the movie Rhinestone. So
Oh, my God.
And finally, Megan Fox is having a tribute tattoo of ex Brian Austin Green covered up now that she has reconciled with Machine Gun Kelly. Kelly reportedly hates the tattoo, especially because it sits over her vagina and says you must have Brian Austin Green's penis to enter. That's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we are looking for the answer on which kitchen device does Sky Max stream 215-263 WMMR. It's Brian that we'll go to. Yo, Bri, good morning.
Hey, you guys rock.
Oh, thanks, buddy. All right, which kitchen device streams Sky Max?
That would be the microwave.
Your microwave. Hang on, Brian. Got you those tickets for the Metallica 72 Seasons World Tour live broadcast coming to movie theaters nationwide for 2 nights only, August 18th and 20th. You can experience M72 World Tour on the big screen live from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And you can see the band playing 2 nights with 2 completely different sets. For tickets and a list of area theaters, visit Metallica.film.
On Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Shut the f*** up!
Thank you, Mark. Foo Fighters released a black and white performance video for Under You. The clip is from the band's free live stream event that took place on May 21st. And it shows the band rehearsing for their current live dates in support of the new album. The song is the latest album, from the latest album called But Here We Are. So that is now available, the new video. Mark Tremonti has announced his first ever holiday album. According to Consequence, the Alter Bridge and Creed, good God.
It's okay.
The Alter Bridge and Creed guitarist puts his own spin on songs like Jingle Bells, First Noel, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and Oh Holy Night. And he'll introduce an original holiday song called Christmas Morning as well. Christmas Classics New and Old will arrive on October 27th. Pantera bassist Rex Brown tied the knot after being in love with his girlfriend for almost 40 years.
40 years?
Yeah. Though the wedding was in June, the two of them just announced it. He popped the question to Elena Henrard last winter, and they got married in Spain. And it was a small ceremony without guests.
Was it Barcelona?
You know what? It doesn't say if it was in Barcelona.
I would say Mallorca.
When he announced their nuptials, he wrote, "Some days are diamonds, some days are rocks. But this day below made me so full of gratitude."
I didn't think he was going
there. But this day you can suck on my... No.
I mean, it seemed the perfect time to go there, right? I mean, it's a day of magic and, intimacy.
It had the rhythm of a lyric,
Yeah.
of a limerick. But he said, it cannot be explained in font. The couple say they fell in love in 1984, were apart.
There was an old hermit named Dave.
Then reunited in 2011 and have been together ever since. I realize that I've never heard that hermit named Dave in my life. Do you know how it goes?
Yeah, I know a version of. There was an old hermit named Dave who kept a, I'll tell you,
dead
a
hooker
whore
in his cave.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has to do with maggots.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
It was in Mallorca. I was right.
Oh, they got married in Mallorca.
Crazy.
Okay. I know the one, there once was a guy from Nantucket.
Yes.
Whose thing was so long he could suck it.
Yes.
And he said with a grin as he wiped off his chin, if my ear was up, I would.
F it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. That's the Shakespeare. That's the original.
Is that dice or does that precede?
No,
dice?
that's a classic
That's an old
one.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
The couple say they fell in love in 1984, and they were reunited in 2011 after they parted and have been together ever since, and they live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Pantera is currently touring North America and headlining shows and playing festivals. And then finally, and I mentioned this earlier this morning, that Eddie Vedder, his inner Swiftie, was exposed as he was spotted at the Taylor Swift concert in Seattle, Washington over the weekend. The Pearl Jam lead singer dressed to impress at this weekend show. He rocked a sequin blazer and a T-shirt that reworded the line from Swift's song Antihero. The lyrics are, "It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me." And Vedder's shirt read, "Hi, it's me, I'm the father, it's me." And he also sported a few matching Taylor Swift-themed bracelets with his wife Jill and his daughters Olivia and Harper. So
You would imagine that Taylor Swift would know he was there, right?
I would
The
think.
handlers would have let her know.
He was in a VIP area, so yes. Because Imagine Dragons' Dan Reynolds was there. So, yeah, I got to believe that they absolutely knew. And I'm sure that Eddie is not going to take his gals there without meeting Taylor,
Right.
given the opportunity. So you would have to. But interesting that he would be there, and apparently he had a great time.
It's kind of adorable.
Yeah. All right, and there you go. That's the last time in music news. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second. Wrap up the program letter of the day for the word of the week when we return. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Casey's Holocaust material is amazing.
Oh, my God.
And you
I
think,
mean, I was-
this is just going to go south. But the way he finesses it.
When he sent me that text at 4:30 this morning, he was like, "Wait till you see the Holocaust joke I've got for you today." No, yes, challah, the bread challah.
Yeah.
Yes, Judy Gold is amazing making challah bread. I had no idea. I love Judy to death. She's one of my favorites. She's such a force. I put her in my live shows in New York, and I came on. She came on to the Breaking Bread podcast, and her background that she put for Zoom was one giant piece of challah that she had made.
So talking about that time in my life when I watched a lot of short attention span theaters, she had a punchline that, what was this, 1989? How many years later, 32 years later, I still remember the punchline, and it was silly. She was talking about getting changed in a dressing room, and the lady opens up the curtain, and she says, I don't need your help. I'm naked with a belt on. And I don't know why that punchline sticks out to me so much. And I think it's because it didn't dawn on me that, I think she might have been trying to steal a belt. Otherwise, why would you be naked with a belt on? And I don't know, but I loved that time in my life when I was just discovering these comedians.
The Judy Gold age.
Yeah, it was Judy. But listen, it was Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
He had a big thing about wiener dogs back then. I remember that because
It sounds like you were going through puberty.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds like between Judy Gold naked in a dressing room and Norm Macdonald going
Wiener
with his wiener. It sounds to me, Casey, like you were becoming a man.
I was.
You were becoming a man.
I'm still working on it, Tom.
And now he gets in touch with you at 4:30 in the morning. It's all good. So is this an extended tour that you're going to be doing, or?
Yeah, I'm on tour pretty heavily through September, and then in September I shoot my next Netflix specials.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's all building up to that.
Tom, I wanted to touch on the bread for a moment because we wouldn't be talking to you. if we didn't talk a little bit of sourdough bread. Have you ever addressed the sourdough bowl concept and how you feel on that? It seems like a kind of a big waste. I like sourdough bowls, but it would seem like kind of a waste of all that bread.
Yeah, I only like it if when I'm in, because a lot of places those are in theme parks and stuff, and I only like the sourdough bowls if I see the person eating the bowl when they're done with the chowder.
There you go.
I think
Like
that's.
if I look over and saw you gnawing at it, I would be happy. If someone just uses it as a bowl, I'm very offended.
Why not a cup? Why not make can you make a sourdough cup? They just a little
like a
bit small.
tiny,
like a shot glass?
No, not a
The
shot glass.
sourdough
You
does
just
a
walk
loaf
around with it. Just walk around town and munching on your cup.
They could make the hat where you put two of them up here. And
Two
it's straws
sourdoughs
that
with
come down. Yeah.
tomato
Princess
soup
Leia
coming out.
ears.
So, can do sourdough loaves need to be a certain size, or could they make a little one like Casey says, a
Muffin
cup size?
Casey's not wrong. Casey's
Okay.
not wrong. You could make them any size you want.
All
You
right.
can make them any size. You can make them medium size and pretend they're Judy Gold's boobs.
By the way, I want you to know I'm keeping your sourdough starter alive. It is in my refrigerator. I tend to tend to it. It is. I have to be honest. I am terrified to make a bread. Because Preston had a story the other day about Robert Plant breaking the strap on Paul McCartney's classic bass, and I'm like, if I have up Tom Papa's starter dough,
It's a lot like that.
You've never tried to make a loaf?
I was just about to do it. I had during the holidays, and turns out our neighbor is a wonder sour, dough bread maker, and we happened to get a loaf, and I'm like, I can't. I don't think I'm ready.
You gotta do it, man.
I know. It's like dancing the red shoes.
I have to make a suggestion here, and Steve, you probably will disagree and cringe at this suggestion.
I love it as a child, though.
But you don't live far from the Keswick Theater. I think Tom should come over on Saturday before his show and make a dough.
Tom, if you can also bring some gardening shears, I'd like a little yard work done as well.
Yeah, I'm the Martha Stewart of comedy.
Yeah, we can make scarecrows for the holidays.
We're gonna dye some Easter eggs. Get ready early.
Yeah, you got to dive in and give it a try.
I am
Steve, you
just
won't mess it up.
terrified.
It's all right, man.
Yeah, all right.
Don't be a baby. And you're only taking a tablespoon of it. You leave the rest there. It's protected.
I just know to
Do
look up
whatever.
at me and go, "Hey, why?
What are you doing?
Why are you wearing that eye patch?"
If only he had two eyes, he could have made bread. He could have made bread.
All right. Well, listen, we want Tom's show to sell out. There's just a few tickets left. He's playing Saturday. The show's at 8:00.
You're going to love it.
KeswickTheater.com, without a question. Tom is absolute one of the best, and you will have a good time.
TikTok star.
You will laugh. He's a TikTok star. Bring the kids.
Yes.
They'll love it. But tickets are on sale now. So, Tom, it is great to talk to you. And we'll see you here in the
Great
studio
to see you.
next time. All right, my man?
Absolutely. Love you guys.
Love you. Tom Papa, guys. Please welcome Barbecue 2016.
Thanks for holding on to those tickets.
Yeah, please. 2023. September 16th.
Yeah.
That's when it's taking place. But Aaron's awesome. Looking forward to seeing him and everybody else on stage and you in the audience. It's going to be a damn good time. Today has been a good time. I would like to thank Mr. Marc Summers for joining us today. Marc has got his live stage show happening, and it's at the Mount Gretna Playhouse. Beautiful, near Lidditz, Pennsylvania. And he is playing August 3rd through the 6th. So here's the deal. The PR people at the theater pulled out just not that long ago and never promoted this.
Never promoted the show. Yeah.
So we want to help him out. And if you like Marc, please go see him because it's a great show. He's a great man. It'll be a lot of fun. You can go to gretnatheater.org. And don't forget about his podcast, Marc Summers Unwraps. We have all that information on PrestonandSteve.com if you want to see that there too. And thank you to our friends Stephanie and Brian from the 27th Annual Christmas in July Motorcycle Toy Run, benefiting the Shriner Children's Hospital and courtesy of the Centurions. So we thank those guys for coming by this morning as well. Pierre Robert is here to chat with us for a moment. Hey, man.
Good day, children.
Nice to see you, sir.
Excellent to see you, kids. How was fish last night, Casey?
Oh my God, it was.
You hated it.
It was great. No,
you hated every minute of it.
I hopped on with you yesterday, and I called a Chalk Dust Torture opener. They closed with Chalk Dust Torture.
Okay.
And I actually felt good because I called 3 songs that they played.
Nice.
Chalk Dust being one of them. I was pretty happy about that. But
we did a block of fish yesterday. Workforce block of fish. Had Casey on, and talked about fish fans. Are they called fish heads?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Fish heads, fans with a PH.
Oh, cool.
Whatever.
All right.
Whatevs.
Did you see Preston there?
I did. Well,
he
yeah.
was up on the upper level on the lawn in the skirt dancing.
No, I saw him in the pit earlier.
Well, he went to the pit, but then he wanted to bond with the people.
Yes.
And smoke a little, and so he went up to the upper levels. And to see him twirl like that, dude, those hairy legs and the skirt.
I had to because the show was so goddamn boring. It was the only thing I could do to entertain myself.
Now, that was just plain unkind.
Oh.
For that, you're going to have to listen to Jimmy Buffett for 7 hours.
Hey, is Buffett touring? Did he stop?
He's not touring this year. I don't think he toured last year.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I was just thinking about that.
No, he hasn't stopped.
Okay.
But usually he
big
tours
tours?
every summer. I mean, there are touring bands every summer. Fish, Dave Matthews, other bands. And he was among those. But no, he's just in tour this year, but he will be back.
I hope he has enough money.
And Preston will be there in the front row once again.
Yes, right down front. It's the only place to keep me entertained because it's so goddamn boring.
You bastard.
So
stop it.
Hey, you joke, I joke.
All right.
That's the way it works.
Okay.
Quid pro quo, Dr. Lecter.
Okay. All right.
Shall we do the letter of the day?
Quo.
All right. Quo.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right, and the Preston and Steve show is brought to you today by the letter
A is in apple.
All right, and we have a pair of great seats, VIP passes, and PRS guitar signed by Godsmack, and MMR presents Godsmack and Stain this Friday, and that'll be at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. Part of MMR's Rock Residency now. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. And you can text the word Godsmack 39333, and we will send you a link to details, including photos of the signed guitar. So we'll give that away on Friday, which will be here before you know it. So what's happening on the program, dude?
We have more tickets for the Outlaw Music Fest coming August 5th at the Man with the great Willie Nelson.
Oh, that's so cool.
He's so amazing.
Would love to get him on the show.
A national treasure. I interviewed him once. I think he's 90 or approaching 90 now. A national treasure. So for today, it's Mick Jagger's birthday, a gigantic block of the Stones, and I think it's Roger Taylor's birthday of Queen.
It is.
So we'll do a block of Queen, too.
Nice. Going to be a great day today with Pierre Robert. I want to thank our sponsors, Preston and Steve Show, brought to you today by Duncan, and the Preston and Steve Show runs on Duncan. Also brought to you by Wild Fork Meat and Seafood Market. Enjoy the largest selection of quality meats and seafood at low prices. Tomorrow on our program, as we've been hitting all morning long, the Duncan Cooling Caravan is heading out to the streets of the Delaware Valley. And if you would like to submit your business to potentially have us stop by with some iced drinks from Duncan, then you need to go to PrestonandSteve.com and get signed up, and we'll find out who we end up visiting tomorrow. So that's it. We're done. Rage on, and have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye-bye.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Mm-hmm.